So may
Saan?
agad tayo. Tapos, roll ka agad tayo or
Wala po usually, what we do kasi sometimes they roll in. We have not been forcing close door.
yes.
So we usually 20 to 30 minutes because we build up. Then we do a roll so that we have to put number.
Sure.
Like
So
yesterday,
we do muna before we turn out. Okay. Anyway, I'll take a look from you.
yes, ma'am.
So correct currency.
Yes, ma'am.
And reference business. And after reference, it's the roll. Just please inform me when the roll is ready to be called. Make note of that. And then the reference, you just tell me which. So what's the difference of this and this?
That's just a plastic cup.
Yan ma'am, lahat ng senaryo ko pwede.
Those are permutations.
I heard that.
What is this?
Ayan ma'am, sabi.
The same.
May birthday niyo.
Parang di ako makapag-
Birthday niya.
Happy birthday.
Ayaw ko kumakan.
Sure. Sure. Okay. Okay. They just followed the definition of business. So wala naman kinap yung Senado, no? Ganun din, no? Sige. Okay. So walang compound. Sino po ang pangalan? Chair. Okay. What your name?
Pangiran.
Sige. Thank you. Hi! Well, you represent ko sa Liga dito. Sa house. Wala yan.
Good afternoon.
Speak. Ikaw lang yan. Patuloy.
Correct. One hour lang ako. Meron ako. Stand by.
Magkasama kami.
Yeah, no.
Pag nagsalita. Hindi na ako yung
Conrad, sorry.
One hour lang ako. Ay, ayun si Conrad. Very good.
So, ano yan, palaging
Sabi ko What time is it? Yeah, exactly 3. Session is called to order. Please rise for a minute of silent prayer and meditation. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we defer the calling of the roll. So move, Madam Speaker.
Is there any objection? Chair hears none. We defer calling of the roll of the members of this House.
Madam Speaker, I move that we defer approval of the journal. So move, Madam Speaker.
Any objection? We therefore defer the reading and the approval of the journal.
Madam Speaker, I move that we perform the reference of business. Could the Secretary General be directed to read the title of bills and resolutions on first reading, as well as communications and committee reports? So moved, Madam Speaker.
Is there any objection? We now proceed with the reading of the reference of business and its referral.
House Bill number 3207, mandating all tollway operators to implement tax holidays from 10 p.m. of December 24 until 6 a.m. of December 25 and 10 p.m. of December 31 until 6 a.m. of January 1. Olivares.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill number 3208, creating public rehabilitation and treatment centers for substance abuse in every city and municipality. Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Dangerous Drugs.
House Bill number 3209, establishing a Bureau of Private Schools to administer, supervise, and regulate schools offering primary and secondary education in the country. Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill number 210, requiring hospitals, medical clinics, and other facilities to release a cadaver in their possession within 24 hours from the time of service score, creating the Citizen Service Mobilization Commission. Representative Umali Alfonso.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill number 3231, amending Section 54, Chapter 8, Subtitle A, Title 1, Book 5 of Executive Order number 292. Representative Sarmiento.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation.
House Bill number 3232, providing for the establishment of the Technical Vocational School under the supervision of TESDA in Calbayog City, Samar, to be known as the Calbayog Technical Vocational School. Representative Sarmiento.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill number 3233, instituting the Magna Carta of Benefits for the officers and personnel of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. Representative Sarmiento.
To the Committee on Dangerous Drugs.
House Bill number 3234 and 3264, establishing a multi-species, multi-purpose marine hatchery and breeding farm in the provinces of Samar and Leyte. Representative Sarmiento and Veloso.
To the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources.
House-
The Chair respectfully requests everyone in the gallery and on the floor to kindly tone down their mini sessions on the floor. Because
Number 1 in the agenda.
you're correct, Congressman Atienza, if you were listening earlier, the majority leader manifested and nobody objected that the roll call be deferred until such time that the chamber will have a quorum. May I ask the majority leader whether the chamber has a quorum now, so we proceed with the roll call as requested by Congressman Atienza.
We were here even before the lady banged her gavel.
You are correct.
So
and
therefore, we were present even before the flag,
Yes.
before the national anthem.
The chair was here at
It's
2:30
just
and I
that
saw you as well.
now that we are raising the point, since you broke the flow of order of the business, then I'm taking the opportunity to ask, why are we dispensing with the roll call? With this number one.
Do
is-
I consider that an objection?
Well, I'm just inquiring, Madam Speaker,
Yes.
if the majority
Yes.
floor leader would enlighten us, then we would be knowing better. Why are we dispensing? Why are we going back to the old practices of the 17th and 16th
May we ask the
Congress?
majority
We already
leader to
corrected that,
respond?
Madam Speaker, na bago na po yan. Huwag po tayong bumalik sa dating gawin.
May we ask the majority leader to respond, please?
Can we have a response from the majority floor leader, Madam Speaker?
Certainly, Madam Speaker. Earlier, at the start of the session, Madam Speaker, we simply deferred the calling of the roll to allow our members to enter session hall, giving in to the wishes of our esteemed colleague, the Honorable Atienza. May I now make the motion to call the roll of members, Madam Speaker? So moved.
Yes.
Second point, Madam Speaker.
Before you leave your first
why
point,
are we not furnished a copy of the journal that is supposed to be second in the order of business too? Wala po tayong journal.
may we ask
Kaya
the
wala po
majority
tayong
leader to
aaprubahan.
respond? The points raised by Congressman Atienza are valid. May we therefore request that the roll be called. And may we therefore request that we follow the rules, and therefore at 3 o'clock that the roll will be called. But I only preside for 1 hour today. So I leave it to the better judgment of this chamber to decide and follow the rules. Majority Leader.
And we ask the
Respond.
Secretariat, Madam Speaker, that each member present here, whether he is here or not, be given a copy of the order of business, be given a copy of the journal that we are supposed to act on. Again, let me remind the Speaker, we don't want to go back to the malpractices of the past. Na bago na po yan, maayos po ang takbo ng ating Kongreso.
Majority Leader.
We don't want to go back in
Madam
darkness.
Speaker,
Point of order, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, the gentleman from Buhay is very correct, Madam Speaker, but we beg his indulgence due to the extraordinarily large amount of legislation being proposed by our colleagues. The journal cannot be printed in time. So we ask for his indulgence and we hope he can understand that by this afternoon, we will have the journal for our approval. And to give in to his wishes, I reiterate my previous motion, Madam Speaker, that we call the roll of members.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order. Just a quick
Majority
point of
Leader.
order, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, a point of order entails a broken rule of the House. May I ask the gentleman what rule he is referring to?
Because, Madam Speaker, actually this is in defense of the majority floor leader. There was a
Speaker.
formal motion.
Madam
To-
Speaker, what rule is the gentleman
Madam Speaker, if I may
referring
just point out my point of order. There was a formal motion to dispense with the roll call. There was also a formal motion to do away with the reading of the journal. So it was in order, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to point out that the majority leader, the motions were carried. Unless now there is a question on the motion approved. But there was in fact a formal motion, Madam Speaker, approved by the plenary.
The
I just wanted to point
congressman
that out,
from
Madam Speaker.
Marikina and the party list is correct. There was a motion to defer, there was no objection, and the two motions were carried. However, the manifestations of the congressman from the Buhay party list is simply the reiteration of the plenary rules, and the chair takes note
and
of
for
that.
the information
And so,
of the
the majority
gentleman
leader already
of Kalusug.
manifested for the roll call to be made now. May we ask the
No,
secretary,
we would
please
like to
call the
correct.
roll.
We would like to correct his point of order, and we would like to put it in order. Alam po ninyo yung question of privilege can be taken up at any time. I cannot work because I do not have a copy of the order of business. I cannot work because we do not have a copy of the journal that we are supposed to be reviewing today. For the information of Congressman Defensor, the rules say on a question of personal privilege, any member can rise up and interrupt the proceedings. Pinaka-importante po yun. Paano tayo magtatrabaho kung wala tayong mga kopya ng agenda? Ayoko pong masanay kung si Congressman Defensor sa kanya okay yun, wala po akong masasabi. Pero sa akin po hindi okay. Kailangan may order of the business that we're taking up. Otherwise, everything is irregular. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Congressman Atienza, Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, we move, as earlier moved, for the calling of the roll. So moved, Madam Speaker.
Secretary is directed to call the roll of members, please.
Roll call of members. Honorable Representatives Abante, Paya, Bellanosa, Abu Exaldivar, Abunda, Acop, Acosta, Acosta Alba, Adjong, Advincula, Agabas, Agarao, Aglipay, Aguinaldo, Albano, Antonio, Albano Rodolfo, Almario, Alonte, Alvarez Franz, Alvarez Senaro, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante Matba, Matong, Andaya, Angara, Aragones, Arbison, Arenas, Arroyo, Atienza, Mentado, Babasa, Bagatsing, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Baskug, Bautista, Bautista Bendigan, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Yason, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot, Bustos, Kabatbat, Kabochan, Cabredo, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Kawagdan, Cari, Castelo, Castro Franz, Castro Fredinil, Cayetano Alan Peter Campañero, Cayetano Marian Laarni, Celeste, Chato, Chipek, Chungad, Ko Angelina, Ko Elizaldi, Cuanco, Collantes, Crisologo, Cua, Quaresma, Cueva, Ulyamat, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor Lawrence, Defensor Michael, Del Mar, De Los Santos, De Los Montalia, Demoporo Abdullah, Demoporo Muhammad Khalid, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael III, D. Ian Paul, Ebcas, Ecleo, Elago, Enverga, Erice, Ergel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Farinas Ria, Farinas Rude Cesar, Fernandez, Fernando, Fer Juliet, Fer Luis, Flores, Fong Juan, Fortun, Fortuno, Frasco, Fuentebella, Gaite, Garbin, Garcia Jose Enrique, Garcia Pablo John, Garcia Vincent, Garin Janet, Garin Sharon, Gacetaya, Gatchalian, Gato, Heron, Go Ed, Go Mark, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Carlo, Groseta, Guico, Gullas, Guya, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Halushos, Javier, Jimenez, Ko Elisa, Ko Wilton, Kong Hun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Lara, Lasatin, Liachon, Ligarda, Lim, Lim Kaichong, Lopez Jose Antonio, Lopez Manuel Luis, Liola, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Mangawang, Magundadato, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Momo, Natividad Nagaño, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Juan Fidel Felipe, Nolasco, Nunez Malanyaon, Ominal, Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega, Juano Dizon, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Padiernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radaza, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Rimulya, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand, Romualdez Sieda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sangcopan, Santos Recto, Sarmento, Saulug, Savellano, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mihan, Sinsuat, Swansing Estrelita, Swansing Horacio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, Si Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Alisa, Tan Angelina, Tan Shamir, Tan Shari, Tan Tambut, Tejada, Teves Arnulfo, Teves Jose, Tiangco, Valentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Tutor, T, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte, Villanueva, Brother Eddie, Villanueva Noel, Villar, Villarasa Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yap Erip, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikorat, Zarate, Zubiri. The Speaker is present. Madam Speaker, the roll call shows that 237 members responded to the call.
With 237 members of the House of Representatives responding to the call, we declare a quorum. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we continue with the reference of business. Once again, could the Secretary General be directed to read the title of bills and resolutions on first reading, as well as committee reports and communications for referral to the appropriate committee. So moved, Madam Speaker.
Please proceed.
House Bill number 3235, reverting the national government the discharge of basic agricultural functions and responsibility devolved to the LGUs. Representative Sarmiento.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 3236, establishing the Special Economic Zone in the 4th District of Cebu, creating for this purpose the 4th District Special Economic Zone Authority. Representative Salimbangon.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry and the Committee on Economic Affairs.
House Bill number 3240, creating the Department of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources. Representative Salimbangon.
To the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries Resources.
House Bill number 3241, 3319, non-working holiday, known as the Marcelo Briones Fernan Day, in Bogo in the honor of the late Marcelo Briones Fernan, an outstanding statesman and legal luminary. Representative Salimbangon.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 3244 and 3297, instituting a national land use and management policy development program. Representative Salceda and Romero.
To the Special Committee on Land Use.
House Bill number 3246 and 3274, creating the Department of Overseas Filipinos Workers. Representative Gonzales Aurelio, Romualdez Sieda, Romualdez Ferdinand.
To the Committee on Government Reorganization, Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs.
House Bill number 3247, providing for additional insurance coverage and benefits for all linemen and other power line workers. Representative Dago.
To the Committee on Energy.
House establishing providing for the separation and autonomy of national high school annexes, extensions in the provinces of Bulacan, South Cotabato, Kalinga, and Parañaque City from its parent school and their establishment as national high schools. Representative C. Alvarado, Hernandez, Mangawang, and Tambunting.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill number 3251 and 3253, establishing a national program for the coffee and cacao industry. Representative C. Alvarado.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill number 3252, 3279, and 3346, adjusting, modifying the salary schedule of civilian personnel in the government. Representative C. Alvarado, Romualdez Sieda, Romualdez Ferdinand, and Deloso Montalvo.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill number 3254, prohibiting national government agencies from requiring the submission of a Philippine Statistics Authority certified birth certificate issued within the past 6 months. Representative Silverio.
To the Committee on Population, Family Relations.
House Bill number 3255, providing for the establishment of the Timbangan ng Bayan Center in all markets nationwide. Representative Silverio.
To the Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill number 3256 and 3261, imposing the death penalty on certain heinous crimes and crimes involving dangerous drugs. Representative Hernandez and Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill number 3258 and 3354, right-sizing the government to improve public service and delivery. Representative Hernandez and Almario.
Committee on Government Reorganization, Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill number 3260, regulating the sale and registration of motor vehicles in metropolitan areas by requiring a proof of parking space or facility from motor vehicle buyers as a prerequisite for the purchase of a motor vehicle and registration with the LTO. Representative Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill number 3263 and 3318, creating additional RTC branches in the provinces of Leyte and Cavite. Representative Veloso and Loyola.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill number 3265, establishing Polytechnic University of the Philippines, Leyte in Leyte Province. Representative Veloso.
Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill number 3266 and 3302, converting, establishing medical center extensions into tertiary hospitals in the provinces of Leyte and Northern Samar, increasing their bed capacity, upgrading the service, facilities, and professional health care therein. Representative Veloso and Noel.
Committee on Health.
House Bill number 3267, regulating the outsourcing of work, amending for the purpose Article 106 of Presidential Decree 442. Representative Go Mark.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill number 3268 and 3316, postponing the conduct of the May 2020 Barangay Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Representative Go Mark and Dalmar.
Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms.
House Bill number 3269, mandating the construction of the Quezon-Bicol Expressway. Representative Suarez Aleta, Salceda, Talyado, Panotes, Villafuerte, Romualdez Ferdinand, Suarez David, Villarasa Suarez, and Tan Angelina.
Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill number 3270, penalizing public and private hospitals from collecting training fees upon postgraduate nurses in exchange for work experience. Representative Lacson.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill number 3271, institutionalizing the release of the 14th month pay for all public school teachers. Representative Lacson.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill number 3272, 3305, 3317, and 3336, providing for a Magna Carta for barangays. Representative Romualdez Sieda, Romualdez Ferdinand, Yap Victor, Delmar, and Romero.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 3273 and 3345, institutionalizing malasakit centers to complement the implementation of RA number 11223. Representative Romualdez Sieda, Romualdez Ferdinand, and Deloso Montalya.
Committee on Health.
House Bill number 3275, strengthening and modernizing the Bureau of Fire Protection. Romualdez Sieda, Romualdez Ferdinand.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Bill number 3277, creating and establishing the National Academy of Sports. Representative Romualdez Sieda, Romualdez Ferdinand.
To the Committee on Youth, Sports Development.
House Bill number 3279, renewing for another 25 years the franchise granted to Amcara Broadcasting Network under RA 8135. Representative Romualdo.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill number 3280, creating Philippine Rubber Industry and Technology Council. Representative Halushos.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill number 3281, providing for the regulation of tricycles, institutionalizing mechanism for its implementation. Representatives Vergara, Escudero, and Tambunting.
Committee on Transportation.
House Bill number 3282, instituting the Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers. Representative Yap Eric, Tulfo, and Taduran.
To the Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs.
House Bill number 3283, amending sections 141, 142, and 143 of RA number 8424 as amended. Representative Rodriguez.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill number 3284, transferring selected national government agencies and government-owned and controlled corporations to New Clark City, Pampanga. Representative Herrera D.
To the Committee on Government Reorganization.
House Bill number 3285, converting the WOW Street in WOW Lanao del Sur into a Level 2 hospital to be known as the Amay Pakpak Medical Center Annex. Representative Adjong.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill number 3286, establishing the LTO District Branch in La Carlota, Negros Occidental. Representative Ferrer Juliet.
to the Committee on Transportation,
House Bill number 3287, limiting the consecutive hours of work by nurses. Representative Vargas.
to the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill number 3288, declaring July 12 of every year as a special non-working holiday in the country to commemorate the historic decision of the Permanent Court of Arbitration in favor of the Philippine sovereignty over the West Philippine Sea. Representative Vargas.
to the Committee on Revision of Laws,
House Bill number 3289, instituting the expanded Balikbayan program. Representative Vargas.
Committee on Overseas Workers Affairs,
House Bill number 3290, amending Section 58 of RA number 8551. Representative Vargas.
to the Committee on Public Order and Safety,
House Bill number 3291, 3355, 3276, mandating the appointment of barangay health workers in every barangay. Representative Almario Vargas, Romualdez Sieda, Romualdez Ferdinand.
Committee on Local Government,
House Bill number 3292, declaring the province of Agusan del Sur as the home of the Golden Tara. Representative Plaza.
Committee on Tourism,
House Bill number 3293, establishing a national evaluation policy. Representative Vergara.
to the Committee on Economic Affairs,
House Bill number 3294, modernizing the national measurement system of the Philippines, creating for this purpose the National Measurement Institute of the Philippines. Representative Vergara.
Committee on Science and Technology,
House Bill number 3295, adopting the National Elderly Care Program as a strategy to promote the maintenance of the physical and mental health and for improving the welfare of the elderly. Representative Guico.
to the Special Committee on Senior Citizens,
House Bill number 3296, promoting mental health through a comprehensive guidance program in every public elementary and secondary schools. Representative Guico.
Committee on Health,
House Bill number 3298, providing for the National Defense Act to foster the suppression of insurgency and other serious threats to national security. Representative Romero.
to the Committee on National Defense and Security,
House Bill number 3300, declaring November 8 of every year a special non-working public holiday in Eastern Visayas region to be known as the Yolanda Commemoration Day. Representative Romualdez Sieda, Romualdez Ferdinand.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill number 3301, promoting the development of entrepreneurship skills among government employees to inspire innovativeness and to ensure their productivity even beyond government service. Representative Noel.
to the Committee on Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development,
House Bill number 3303, creating a safety internet education program in the curriculum of all elementary and secondary schools. Representative Yap Victor.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill number 3304, seeking to include barangay officials in the compulsory membership of GSIS. Representative Yap Victor.
to the Committee on Government Enterprises and Privatization,
House Bill number 3306, declaring January 16 of every year a special non-working holiday in Dapa, Surigao del Norte in celebration of the municipality's fiesta. Representative Matugas.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill number 3307, regulating class size in all public schools. Representative Nieto.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill number 3308, defining and prohibiting obstruction and slowdown of traffic while under the influence of road rage. Representative Nieto.
to the Committee on Transportation,
House Bill number 3309 and 3373, institutionalizing promoting the bamboo industry development in the Philippines as a priority program, creating the Bamboo Industry Research and Development Center. Representative Villar and Garin Sharon.
to the Committee on Agriculture and Food,
House Bill number 3310, strengthening the resiliency of small farmers against climate change and extreme weather risk by establishing the regulatory framework and program of a free weather index-based crop insurance. Representative Villar.
Committee on Agriculture and Food,
House Bill number 3311, instituting inclusive education, establishing inclusive education, learning resource centers for children and youth with special needs in all public school divisions. Representative Villar.
to the Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill number 3312, providing for the employment of nurses, assign at least one registered nurse for every barangay in the Philippines. Representative Villar.
to the Committee on Local Government,
House Bill number 3313, creating the Department of Migration and Development. Representative Villar.
to the Committee on Government Reorganization, Committee on Justice,
House Bill number 3314, increasing the bed capacity of Las Piñas General Hospital and Satellite Trauma Center in Las Piñas City, Metro Manila, from 200 beds to 500 beds, upgrading its service facilities and professional health care services. Representative Villar.
Committee on Health,
House Bill number 3315, adopting integrated coastal management as a national strategy to ensure the sustainable development of the coastal and marine environment and resources. Representative Villar.
to the Special Committee on Climate Change,
House Bill number 3322, instituting the Former Prisoners Employment Program. Representative Tambunting.
the Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill number 3323, mandating the CHED to include labor education in the tertiary education curriculum. Representative
Committee on-
Tambunting.
Committee on Higher and Technical Education,
House Bill number 3324, mandating employers to grant 2 weeks of unpaid leave a year to employees whose spouse, parent, unmarried child, or when they themselves are suffering from serious illnesses. Representative Tambunting.
Committee on Labor and Employment,
House Bill number 3325, strengthening the barangay through support for barangay officials and volunteer works. Representative Tambunting.
Committee on Local Government,
House Bill number 3326, covering the creation and accreditation of micro-enterprises development institutions. Representative Tambunting.
Committee on Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development,
House Bill number 3327, requiring all government building construction to have rain harvesting facilities. Representative Tambunting.
Committee on Public Works and Highways,
House Bill number 3328, providing for emergency powers to the President of the Philippines to address the transportation crisis in Metro Manila. Representative Tambunting.
Committee on Transportation,
House Bill number 3329, providing for the safety and protection of the unborn child. Representative Tambunting.
Committee on Population, Family Relations,
House Bill number 3330, amending RA number 9262. Representative Tambunting.
Committee on Women and Gender Equality,
House Bill number 3331, creating the National Cancer Institute of the Philippines. Representative Tambunting.
Committee on Government Reorganization, Committee on Health,
House Bill number 3332, creating the Subsidy Insurance Coverage of Childhood Immunization Act of 2016. Representative Tambunting.
Committee on Health,
House Bill number 3334, providing for the protection of the rights of airline passengers. Representative Tambunting.
Committee on Transportation,
House Bill number 3335, prohibiting the privatization of government hospitals by Representative Tambunting.
to the Committee on Health,
House Bill number 3337, reinstating the mandatory reserve officers training corps by Representative Romero.
Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
House Bill number 3338, banning the use of single-use plastics nationwide in the country through a zero hunger food rescue program by Representative Herrera D.
Special Committee, Food Security,
House Bill number 3343, establishing a nationwide curfew for better child safety and protection of welfare of persons under 18 years old by Representative Herrera D.
Committee on Welfare of Children,
House Bill number 3344, banning traditional small-scale community incineration. SIGA by Representative Herrera D.
Committee on Ecology.
House Bill numbers 3347 and 3350, creating the Department of Water, Irrigation, Sewage and Sanitation Resource Management by Representatives Diloso Montalia and Macapagal Arroyo.
Committee on Government Reorganization, Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill number 3349, granting the appropriate civil service eligibility to Sangguniang Kabataan officials by Representative Ilago.
Committee on Civil Service, Professional Regulation.
House Bill number 3351, providing for a revised Wildlife Resources Conservation and Protection Act by Representative Macapagal Arroyo.
To the Committee on Natural Resources.
House Bill number 3352, requiring all graduating elementary, high school, and college students to plant at least 10 tree saplings each as a prerequisite for graduation by Representative Almario.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill number 3353, institutionalizing an emergency medical services systems, creating for the purpose the National EMSS Council by Representative Almario.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill number 3356, amending sections 4, 5, 20, 22, 27, 28, 34, 40, 50, 73, 112, 117, 204, 222, 237, 237A, 255, 256, 257, 258, 260, 261, 262, 263, 264, 265, 266, 275, 288, 290, and adding sections 6A, 282A, 291, 292, 293, 294, 295, 296, 297, 298, 299, 300, 301, 3018, 301B, 302, 303, 304, 305, 306, 307, 308, 309, 310, 311, 312, 313, and 314 under the National Internal Revenue Code of 1997 as amended by Representative Hofer.
Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill number 3357, amending sections 141, 142, and 143 of Republic Act number 8424 as amended by Representative Hofer.
Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill numbers 3358 and 3368, instituting reforms in real property valuation and assessment in the Philippines, reorganizing the Bureau of Local Government Finance by Representative Hofer and Garin Sharon.
Committee on Government Reorganization.
House Bill number 3359, amending section 22, 24, 25 to 27, 28, 29, 30, 32, 34, 37, 38, 39, 42, 51, 52, 54, 56, 57, 73, 108, 121, 122, 123, 174, 176, 179, 181, 182, 183, 184, 185, 186, 187, 188, 189, 190, 191, 194, 195, 196, 197, 198, and 199, and repealing sections 127, 175, 177, 178, 180, 192, and 193, and all under Republic Act number 8424 by Representative Hofer.
Committee on Ways and Means.
House Bill number 3362, declaring Binkatan Cave and Mount Kitumman in Lagawi, Ifugao as an eco-tourism destination by Representative Chungalao.
Committee on Tourism.
House Bill number 3364, creating barangay to be known as Barangay Mapit in Kiangan, Ifugao by Representative Chungalao.
Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 3366, strengthening and modernizing the warehouse receipts law of the Philippines in order to provide a legal framework in the Philippines that shall facilitate trade and commerce by Representative Herrera D.
Committee on Trade and Industry.
House Bill number 3367, strengthening workers' right to security of tenure by Representatives Villanueva, Eduardo, and Rivera.
Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill number 3369, promoting corporate farming by Representative Garin Sharon.
To the Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill number 3370, reducing food waste through food donations and food waste recycling by Representative Garin Sharon.
To the Special Committee on Food Security.
House Bill number 3371, providing for a Magna Carta of Agricultural Development Workers by Representative Garin Sharon.
Committee on Agriculture and Food.
House Bill number 3372, promoting safe and responsible use of modern biotechnology, establishing the Biotechnology Authority of the Philippines by Representative Garin Sharon.
Committee on Science and Technology,
House Bill number 3374, strengthening the animal industry and veterinary services in the Philippines by Representative Garin Sharon.
Committee on Agriculture and Food,
House Bill number 3375, promoting and supporting the development of the corn industry by Representative Garin Sharon.
Committee on Agriculture and Food,
House Bill number 3376, mandating the institutionalization, development, training, organization, and administration of basic reserve officers training corps in grades 11 and 12 in public and private educational institutions by Representative Salceda.
Committee on Basic Education and Culture,
Resolutions. House Resolution 133, directing the appropriate committee to 137, authorizing the grant of additional district operational budget for the members of the House by Representative Tolentino, Cayetano, Alan Peter, Romualdez Ferdinand, Abante, and Ungam.
Committee on Appropriations,
House Resolution 138, declaring July 15 of every year as National Smoke-Free Day, upon which all citizens shall be prohibited to smoke by Representative Castello.
Committee on Health,
House Resolution 140, expressing our sincere congratulations to the Iglesia ni Cristo for their 105th founding anniversary on July 27, 2019 by Representative Nieto.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 141, directing the House Committee on Games and Amusements to inquire on the closure of all PCSO outlets due to massive corruption by Representative Abante.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 142, condemning and calling for an urgent investigation into the threats, harassment, and vilification of students and teachers of the clans Lumad School, Dia, Menua, in Palimbang, Sultan Kudarat, and their community leaders by the police, military, and representatives of national government agencies and local government by Representative Castro Franz,
Committee.
Sarati, Kaiti, Kulyamat, Rosas, and Ilago.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 143, condemning and calling for the urgent investigation into the threats, harassment, and vilification against students, teachers of the Salungpongan, Tatano, Ikagano, and Community Learning Center in Sitio, Nasiliban, Barangay Palma Hill, Talingaw, Davao del Norte by AFP and the paramilitary group Alamara, Representative Castro Franz, Zarate, Gaite, Culyamat, Brosas, and Ilago.
to the Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 144, condemning and calling for the urgent investigation into the attacks against Lumad schools, students, teachers, and advocates in southern Mindanao from July 2016 to July 2017. Representative Castro Franz, Zarate, Gaite, Culyamat, Brosas, and Ilago.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 145, calling for an investigation by the Committee on Health on the reported 18 billion pesos worth of unused medicines left in DOH warehouses. Representative Defensor Michael.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 146, calling for an investigation on the proliferation of counterfeit medicines in the country. Representative Lim.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 147, augmenting the funding of the PSC and CHED through PAGCOR. Representative Garbin.
Committee on Appropriations,
House Resolution 148, creating the House Committee on National Defense and Security to investigate news reports on the presence of 100 jihadists in Mindanao and lay down tactical measures to uphold national security upon verifying the same. Representative Castello.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 149, requesting the appropriate committee to make an investigation on the influx of e-bikes and scooters plying the streets. Representative Marquez.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 150, directing the conduct of a strategic review of operations and organizational structure of the House and the formulation of a right-sizing plan with the accompanying early retirement incentive benefit for the affected personnel and the implementation of a one-time separate early retirement incentive benefit for qualified personnel. Representative Benitez.
Committee on Accounts.
House Resolution 151 expressing felicitations and congratulations to the Iglesia ni Cristo on its 105th founding anniversary celebration. Daza, Del Mar, Umali, Alfonso, Erice, Hataman, Lagman, Kimbo, Ramirez-Sato, Gacetaya, and Ong Jose.
Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 155 urging the members of the House to manifest their support to the Youth Stand for the Future Stand with the Youth Unity Statement. Representative Ilago, Castro Franz, Zarate, Gaite, Gulyamat, and Brosas.
Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 156 directing the Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries and other appropriate committees to conduct an inquiry on the unilateral act of certain banks to foreclose the accounts of remittance agents, foreign exchange dealers, and money changers. Representative Pineda and Romero.
Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 157 directing the Committee on Trade and Industry and other appropriate committees to conduct an inquiry on the charging of parking fees on malls and other similar establishments, including government facilities, with an end view of enacting legislation to regulate the same. Representative Pineda and Romero.
Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 158 directing the Committee on Health to conduct an inquiry into the alleged inconsistencies and failure in the implementation of the provisions of RA 7305, especially the payment of allowances and benefits to public health workers, especially in the face of the implementation of the Universal Health Care Act. Representative Tan Angelina.
Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 159 directing communities on health and labor and employment to conduct an investigation into the implementation on the provisions of Presidential Decree 442 governing normal hours of work with the end view of assuring humane conditions of work and protection of health and well-being of workers. Representative Tan Angelina.
Committee on Rules.
House Bill Number 160 directing the Committee on Energy to conduct an inquiry on the status of the implementation of the Transmission Development Plan of the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines and other related laws. Representative Dagook, De Jesus, Ebcas, and Guya.
Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 161 directing the Committee on Energy to conduct an inquiry into the IPIRA law and its implementing rules and regulations, ending the Iglesia ni Cristo in celebrating of its 105th founding anniversary. Representative Silverio.
Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 165 urging the Committee on Transportation to conduct an inquiry on the implementation of MMDA provincial bus ban in EDSA. Representative Villafuerte.
Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 166 expressing the sense of the House to condemn the spate of extrajudicial killings in the islands of Negros and call on the authorities to immediately stop the killings and bring the perpetrators to justice. Representative Castro Franz, Zarate, Gaite, Gulyamat, Brosas, and Ilago.
Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 167 directing the Committee on Local Government and the Committee to conduct an inquiry on the reported unceremonious termination of barangay health workers by barangay and local government officials and its effect to the delivery of primary health care programs and services. Representative Ko and
Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 168 urging the DBM, DILG, COA, and others for the speedy release and complete and clear guidelines for the utilization of Sangguniang Kabataan funds. Representative Ilago.
Committee on Appropriations.
House Resolution 169 urging the House to probe the release of Sangguniang Kabataan funds and its utilization. Representative Ilago.
Committee on Appropriations.
House Resolution 170 directing the appropriate House Committee of the House to conduct an investigation on the existence and circulation of vinegar brands made from synthetic acetic acid. Concerned agents, Jesus, Ebcas, and Guya.
Committee on Energy.
House Resolution 181 directing the House through appropriate committee to conduct an inquiry on the status of the implementation of Pasig Marikina River flood control projects under the Japan International Cooperation Agency. Representative Fernando.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 182, directing the House through the Committee on Higher and Technical Education to conduct an inquiry on the status of technical education and skills programs authorities, Philippine TVET Competency Assessment and Certification System. Representative Fernando.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 183, urging the appropriate House Committee to conduct an inquiry into the actions of the DOH on the overstocking of near-expiry drugs. Representative Herrera D.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 184, directing the conduct of investigation on the causes of delay in the distribution and of dispersal of medicines and recommend measures for the proper warehousing, monitoring, and immediate distribution and providing penalties therefore. Representative Robes.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 185, condemning the recent series of killings of lawyers, prosecutors, and judges, directing the Committee on Justice and other appropriate committees to conduct an inquiry of these killings and urging the DOJ and PNP to form a special task force in coordination and collaboration with the CHR, the IBP to conduct the necessary legal actions. Representative Nograles 1.
Committee on Rules,
House Resolution 186, urging the House through the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability to conduct an inquiry into the financial and operational viability of the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation in line with implementation of RA number 11223 or the Universal Healthcare Act. Representative Janet Garin.
Committee on Rules,
Messages from the President. Veto message dated July 26, 2019, returning without signature the enrolled SB number 1826 and House Bill number 6908.
wala dito. To the Committee on Rules,
Communications. Letter dated July 31, 2018 of Joseph B. Anakay, Regional Director, COA, CAR, furnishing the House with the 2017 AAR of Baguio Water District.
to the Committee on Appropriations,
Letter dated 31 May 2019 of Sarah Lou Y. Ariola, Undersecretary Office of the Undersecretary for Migrant Workers Affairs, DFA, submitting to the House of Representatives to Congress on assistance of nationals for the period of July to December 2018.
Committee on Foreign Affairs. May we
Letter
request
dated.
for 1 minute suspension, please?
Relief efforts extended by the DSWD, the AFP, the medical personnel for their immediate response and assistance. Representative Cayetano Alan Peter, Romualdez Ferdinand, Abante, and Pichay.
Committee on Rules,
Communications. Letter dated June 4, 2019 of Police Brigadier General Gilberto D.C. Cruz, Regional Director, National Police Commission, PNP, Police Regional Office 13, furnishing the House with the detailed accomplishment and utilization of confidential and counterintelligence funds for the months of January to June 2019 of Police Regional Office 13.
Committee on Appropriations,
Letters dated June 4, 10, 13, 19, and July 2, 8, 13 of 2019 of Janice G. Aison Zales, Deputy Director, Office of the General Counsel and Legal Services, BSP, furnishing the House with duly certified, authenticated BSP issuance.
Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
Letter dated June 13, 24, 25, and July 9, 2019 of Michael G. Aldo, Chairperson, COA, providing the House with copies of calendar year 2017 and 2018 AAtions allotments obligations, disbursements, and balances of national government agencies for the quarter ending March 31, 2019.
Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated June 21, 2019 of Bonafé de Vera Paraño, Mayor, Malagdan, Pangasinan, submitting the report on fund utilization and status of program project implementation Annex 1 for the quarter ended June 27, 2019 on the LGSF program fiscal year 2018.
Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated June 28, 2019 of Dominador Chiong, MD, Director VMMC, furnishing the House with a copy of the VMMC's Agency Action Plan and status of implementation for the AAR of fiscal year 2018.
Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated July 3, 2019 of Attorney Eden T. Rafanan, Regional Director, COA CAR, furnishing the House with copies of the biennial audit reports of the and AARs of the various water districts and other standalone agencies.
Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated July 3, 2019 of Maria Sheila A. Ramos, State Auditor 4, OIC, Supervising Auditor COA Regional Office Number 6, Iloilo, furnishing the House with copies of the AAR for the year ended December 31, 2018 and various SUCs.
Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated July 8, 2019 of Cecilia C. Borromeo, President, CEO, Land Bank of the Philippines, Plaza, submitting to the House their report on the use of funds for the Unconditional Cash Transfer Program second quarter of 2019.
Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated July 11, 2019 of Maria Corazon S. Gomez, Regional Director, Regional Office Number 4B, COA, submitting to the House the 2018 AARs of national government sectors, SUCs, and other NGS standalone agencies and corporate government sectors, water districts, and other CGS standalone agencies and COA of COA Region 4B.
Committee on Appropriations.
Letters dated 12 July 2019 of Marisa M. Reyes, Acting Deputy Director, Office of the General Counsel of Legal Services, BSP, furnishing the House with duly certified authenticated BSP issuances.
Committee on Banks and Financial Intermediaries.
2018 AARs of various water districts.
Committee on Appropriations. That is all. Thank you very much. Session is suspended.
Session resumed. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the guests of Honorable Estrelita B. Swansing, Representative 1st District of Nueva Ecija. They are the local government officials in the municipality of Santo Domingo, Nueva Ecija, headed by Mayor Honorable Aimee L. de Guzman, Vice Mayor Honorable Jelyn D. Velasco, Sangguniang Bayan members Junior L. Bugaowan, Honorable Arlan Ryan P. Andres, Honorable Edgar S. De Leon Jr., Honorable Eduardo A. Juan, Honorable Wilfredo A. Maniego, Honorable Olivia S. Pascual, Honorable Emerson S. Matias, Honorable Ronnie S. De la Cruz, and Sangguniang Bayan Secretary Honorable Cindy G. Flores, Municipal Accountant Carl Lester Ador Dionisio, Ms. Jessa Joy Pagurayan, Mr. Alan G. Arucan, Mr. Dadson Javier They are the guests of the Honorable Estrelita B. Swansing.
Welcome to the House of Representatives, the guest of Honorable Congresswoman Swansing. Majority Floor Leader.
Honorable Speaker, may we recognize the guest of our Majority Floor Leader, Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, and the guest of Honorable Congresswoman Yeda Marie K. Romualdez, Tingog Sinarangan Party List, the Barangay Chairman of Barangay 109A, Tacloban City, Honorable Rudy Padilla. They are the guests of Majority Floor Leader Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez and Tingog Sinarangan Party List Congressman Yeda Marie K. Romualdez.
Likewise, the House of Representatives wish to welcome the guest of the Majority Floor Leader and Congresswoman Yeda Romualdez. Majority Floor Leader. Sandra Erigel. So moved, Mr. Speaker. Is there any objection? There being none, the following names read by the Majority Floor Leader are hereby elected as members of the Committee on Natural Resources. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the majority, we move to nominate and elect to the Committee on Justice the following members. As Chair, the Honorable Ching Veloso. As Vice Chairperson, the Honorables Rufus Rodriguez, Naelia Aguinaldo, Jonathan Flores, and Fidel Nograles. As members, the Honorable Cyril Abuega Zaldivar, Roel Gonzaga, Doy Liachon, Cheryl Deloso, Tyrone Agabas, Peter Calderon, Dalia Loyola, Manuel Lopez, Cora Malanyaon, Josephine Sato, Aleta Suarez, and Hector Sanchez. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? There being none, the chair hears none. Therefore, the names read by the Majority Floor Leader as new members of the Committee on Justice are hereby elected.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the majority, we move to nominate and elect the following to the Committee on Youth and Sports. As Chair, Honorable Eric Martinez. As Vice Chairpersons, Honorable Jericho Nograles, Bobby Pacquiao, Manuel Lopez, and Jumel Espino. As members, the Honorable Divina Yu, Alfred Vargas, Onyx Crisologo, Antonio Calixto, Carl Cari, Angelo Barba, Alexi Tutor, Ian Paul D., John Ray Tiangco, Romel Angara, Jake Villa, Christopher Ed Go, Faustino Ino D., Braden Biron, and Ian D. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? There being none, the following names read are hereby elected as members of the Committee on Youth and Sports.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the majority, we move to nominate and elect as members of the Committee on National Defense the following. As Chair, the Honorable Raul Tupas. As Vice Chairpersons, the Honorable Rufino Biason, Antonio Calixto, Jorge Bustos, Ismael Mangudadatu. And as members, the Honorable Shari Ann Tan, Rudy Kawagdan, John Flores, Clarix Uy, Samuel Tan, Arnie Fuentebella, Aris Aumentado, Siriaco Gato, Michael Duavit, John Ray Tiangco, Manix Dalipe, Genaro Alvarez, Dalia Loyola, and Gil Acosta. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? There being none, the names read by the Majority Floor Leader are hereby elected as members of the Committee on National Defense.
Mr. Chair, on behalf of the majority, we move to nominate and elect the following House members to the Committee on Foreign Affairs. As Vice Chairperson, the Honorable Domingo Rivera. As members, the Honorable Duke Frasco, Juliet Baronda, Juliet Ferrer, Marisol Panotes, Siriaco Gato, Aris Aumentado, Ian D., Manuel Sagarbaria, Abdullah Dimaporo, Wesley Gatchalian, Cesar Jimenez, Lucy Torres Gomez, Estrelita Swansing, Alexi Tutor, Camille Villar, and Sol Aragones. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Therefore, the names read are hereby elected as members of the Committee on Foreign Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the majority, we move to nominate and elect the following to the Committee on Health. As Vice Chairpersons, the Honorable Marilu Arroyo, Michael Defensor. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The names read are hereby elected as members of the Committee on Health. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the majority, we move to nominate and elect as members of the Committee on Transportation the following members. As Vice Chairperson, the Honorable Claudine Bautista, Lisandro Gonzalez, Manuel Zubiri. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The following names read are hereby elected as members of the Committee on Transportation.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the majority, we move to nominate and elect the following members to the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries. As Chairperson, the Honorable Leo Rafael Cueva. As Vice Chairpersons, Honorable Siriaco Gato, Diego T. Janice Salimbangon. As Member, the Honorable Abdullah Dimaporo, Leonardo Babasa Jr., Esmael Mangudadatu, Samier Tan, John Ray Tiangco, Hil Acosta, Jake Villa, Gerardo Valmayor, Berneditas Ramis, and Michael John Duavit. So moved, Mr.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The names read, the following names that were read are hereby elected as members of the Committee on Aquaculture and Fisheries. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, by leave of the House, I move that we open the privilege hour. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Privilege hour.
Mr. Speaker, first of our colleagues to avail of the privilege hour is the gentleman from the 6th District of Quezon City. I move that we recognize the Honorable Jose Christopher Kip Belmonte. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman from the 6th District of Quezon City is hereby recognized.
Thank you very much,
You have
Majority Floor
10
Leader.
minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, fellow members of the House, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. I rise on a matter of personal and collective privilege as a member of this House and a member of our duly constituted House minority. Mr. Speaker, this privileged speech reflects the robust composition of the House minority bloc. The minority leader ran under Ascenso Manileño, while there are members who come from the Liberal Party, the NP, the PDP Laban, and there are members from the party list coalition and from the Makabayan bloc. We can reasonably expect that our members have differing priorities because of this healthy mix of interests. However, regardless of our differing priorities, malinaw ang aming papel sa kamarang ito. And it is one that we have in common with every member of Congress, to find ways to make our people's lives better. Ididiin ko rin, Mr. Speaker, when we fiscalize, when we object, even when we vote no, hindi po kami nagno-no para manggulo. Too often, our people see us fight among ourselves according to the dictates of politics and expediency. Pero sa totoo lang, mas maraming nagbibigkis sa ating bilang Pilipino kaysa nagwawatak. Our commonalities, not only as congresspersons, but more importantly as Filipinos, bind us much more powerfully than our affiliations can ever divide us. It is time that we focus on these commonalities. Naniniwala pa rin ako na sa kabila ng mga kulay ng ating tsaleko tuwing kampanya, pag upo natin dito, pagsampa natin sa rostrum na ito, pangunahin nating tungkulin na tugunan ang pangangailangan ng ating mga nasasakupan. Our goal is not to follow this or that marching order, because there are no marching orders higher than that of the Filipino peoples. Our goal is not to fight amongst each other so that one may get a better piece of the pie from the powers that be. Our goal is not to be the best sycophant to those who hold our purse strings. Ang tungkulin natin ay sa tao. Our goal, Mr. Speaker, is to work together so that we can craft the best laws possible, so our people can take the longest, most meaningful strides towards empowerment. And the Congresses before us, despite their affiliations and differences, were able to band together in pursuit of this goal. Alalahanin natin, Mr. Speaker, sa mga bulwagan din ng Kongreso ng Pilipinas, pinanday ang Responsible Parenthood Act. Sa mga bulwagan din natin, ipinasa ang Sin Tax Reform, ang Cheaper Medicines Act, ang Clean Air Act. Sa mga bulwagan din natin, pinagdebatihan at isinulong ang dignidad at kalayaan ng Pilipinas nang patalsikin ang US bases noong dekada 90. We carry that legacy, and it is our duty to rise above the petty squabbling, to rise higher than the usual politics that dominate our days, and craft laws that divine the very spirit of what it means to be a Filipino during the time of this 18th Congress. And it is best, and at its best, this Congress can craft laws that are made from the stuff of dreams. And it is our duty right now to forge laws that allow our people to dream again. Bitbit tayo ng mga pangarap na iyon, Mr. Speaker. I am sure that there are already ideas in our heads, and there are perhaps drafts already written somewhere or languishing in some drawer that speak to these dreams. Nandiyan ang mga batas ukol sa mas maayos na mga classroom at pasahod sa mga teacher. Nandyan ang mga batas na sisigurong kayang makipagsabayan ng graduate na Pinoy sa kahit na sino sa buong mundo. Mga batas na magbubukas ng mga bago at malikhaing trabaho at industriya sa Pilipinas. Nandyan ang mga batas tungkol sa sahod ng barangay healthcare workers, mga klinik sa komunidad, mga ospital na sisigurong walang Pilipinong mamamatay sa sakit na pwedeng maiwasan. Nandyan ang mga batas na nagbibigay ng katiyakan sa paninirahan. At nandyan ang mga batas na talagang mag-aangat at magbibigay lakas sa mamamayan. These should be our real marching orders. And while we can all speak as loudly as we can to try and drown out each other's voices, when speaking to the state of the nation today, I am certain there should be no debate about what we want to be the state of the nation tomorrow. May we be up to this task. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, ang mga paniniwala sa pag-angat ng ating kalagayan sa buhay ay bahagi ng aming mga batayang prinsipyo sa Liberal Party. Ayaw man nating aminin, batayang prinsipyo rin ito ng marami sa ating mga Pilipino. We believe in freedom, in individual agency, in the dignity of the individual, in his or her rights. We would like to believe that by and large as Filipinos, these values hold true for all of us. And let me point out now, Mr. Speaker, that when someone who dissents is attacked for dissenting, hindi lang sila ang inaatake. Ang inaatake ang mga values natin. Sa madaling sabi, lahat tayo inaatake, lahat tayo apektado. Ilang araw bago nagbukas ang unang sesyon ng ating Kongreso, nasaksihan natin ang pambubuli sa mga naglalakas loob na pumuna sa kalukuyang sitwasyon ng ating bansa. Binantaan ng impeachment ang ating vice-presidente at kasama ang ilang pari at bishop ng simbahan, mga senador, mga kandidato ng oposisyon at mga abogado ay sinampahan sila ng kung ano-anong kaso ng sedition at iba pang charges, batay sa mga gawa-gawang kwento na inimbento ng isang estapador. Ang kasalanan nila, magsalita. Mga kasama, last I checked, hindi bawal magsalita. Last I checked, kasama sa tungkulin ng bawat mamamayan, lalo na tayong mga naglilingkod at kinatawan nila dito sa Kongreso, na igiit ang tingin nating tama na makapagdebate sa isa't isa o sa gobyerno para maging mas makabuluhan ang mga desisyon ng ating pamahalaan. Last I checked, ang katotohanan ay katotohanan pa rin at hindi inciting to sedition. Sedition ba when we call out false narratives that build fear and anxiety and provide a pretext for immunity? Sedition ba when we call out false hopes that pay lip service to lower prices or better roads and buildings and bridges and a better economy, even when more than 20% of our people still live below the poverty line and half our nation still considers themselves poor? Sedition ba when we call out false priorities that put death sentences over life-giving aid? Sedition ba when we call out false logic that presents us with false choices that tell us there is either war or subservience and nothing in between? Sedition ba when we say no to murder as a state policy? If indeed a drug war is necessary, then let us wage war with better healthcare policies because drug use is a healthcare issue. Mr. Speaker, let us wage war with the law, with better intelligence and strategies against drug lords. Let us put drug lords in jail and not in the grave, and not use it as a pretext to strike fear, to kill, or to put the political opposition behind bars. Sedition ba when we object to the death penalty? No, we are fools to believe that capital punishment is only yet to come, and we are twice too fool to believe that death will balance the scales of justice. Sedition ba when we object to criminalizing children? No, policies concerning the age of discernment should not be hardened by an age of tyrants. And sedition ba when we say no to being sold to China? We say no to a situation where our fisher folk left to die in our own waters are called liars by their own leaders. No to our laborers being displaced by foreigners, our soldiers demoralized, our people treated as second-class citizens within our own shores and waters. Naibenta na tayo. Ang sabi nga po ng isang security expert, hindi na ito enemy at the gates. Nandyan na sila sa kusina. Kinakain na ang hapunan natin. Sedition ba when we say no to this? Yan ang mga alam kong sinasabi ni VP Lenny at ng mga kapwa niyang akusado. Hindi po sedition yan. Because allegations against VP Lenny are fictitious. This was initiated by a few misguided sycophants who would rather destabilize the Republic and push their own personal agendas rather than work to uplift the lives of our Filipino people. I am sure that after due and impartial process, the investigation will bear this out. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat po, dear colleagues.
Majority Floor Leader.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, for his interpellation, may we please recognize the distinguished gentleman from the 1st District of Albay, the Honorable Edsel Lagman.
The veteran legislator from province of Albay is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the distinguished gentleman from Quezon City yield to some questions?
I would be more than happy to be educated by the illustrious Edsel Lagman, Mr. Speaker.
Now, he spoke, among others, on the charges against 38 respondents, including Vice President Robredo, for sedition, inciting to sedition, libel, cyber libel, harboring a criminal, and obstruction of justice, among others. Is that
That is
correct?
correct, Mr. Speaker.
Now, in this charge, let me go to a minor offense, which is harboring a criminal. Who is this criminal being harbored by the respondents, more particularly the Vice President, the clergy, and members of the opposition and the candidates of Otso Derecho?
As I understand it, Mr. Speaker, reports and the charges presented, it is one person known as Bicoy to the public.
And Picoy is Peter Joel
Jomel
Advincola.
Advincola. Peter Jomel Advincola, Mr. Speaker.
In fact, he is one of the respondents,
That is correct, Mr.
number
Speaker.
one in the list.
That is correct, Mr.
But
Speaker.
he's also named as a witness. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker.
And is considered a criminal because, by his own admission, he was formerly detained at the new Bilibid prison. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker.
In other words, distinguished gentleman, he is considered as an ex-convict. Is that correct?
That would be a way of putting it, yes, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I would assume that the distinguished gentleman from Quezon City has read the undated and possibly unverified complaint of this NCR CIDG.
That is correct, Mr. Speaker. Yes.
And after reading this undated and possibly unverified complaint, did you see any allegation, more particularly against the Vice President and the candidates of the Otso Derecho, which would allege overt acts or implied acts constituting the offenses charged?
None that stands out clearly, Mr. Speaker.
Now, I would also assume that the distinguished gentleman has read the sinumpang salaysay of Peter Joel Advincola, alias Bicoy, dated 29 May 2019.
That is correct, Mr. Speaker. I even have a copy in my hands right now.
And I would also assume that the distinguished gentleman from Quezon City has read the sinumpang salaysay of Peter Joel Advincola, alias Bicoy, dated July 17, 2019.
That is correct, Mr. Speaker.
In your reading of these two sinumpang salaysay, did you find any allegation of overt acts or implied acts constituting the offenses charged against the Vice President, the political opposition, particularly the Otso Derecho candidates?
Not to my limited knowledge of the law, the facts averred to in the affidavit do not reflect any of the charges as written, Mr. Speaker.
Just to substantiate the statements of the distinguished gentleman from Quezon City, let me just go through the elements of sedition.
Yes, please, Mr. Speaker.
In the revised penal code annotated by Luis B. Reyes, the following are the elements of sedition. And I quote, that the offenders rise publicly and tumultuously. 2, that they employ force, intimidation, and other means outside of legal methods. 3, that the offenders employ any of those means to attain any of the following objects. A, to prevent the promulgation or execution of any law or the holding of any popular elections. B, to prevent the national government or any provincial or municipal government or any public officer thereof from freely exercising its or his functions or prevent the execution of any administrative order. C, to inflict any act of hate or revenge upon the person or property of any public officer or employee. D, to commit any political or social end, any act of hate or revenge against private persons or any social class of sedition, which is public and tumultuous uprising, is absent in this case because there is no allegation whatsoever in the complaint as well as in the sinumpang salaysay of Bicoy. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker.
Then, if there is no object of sedition, there is no sedition.
That is correct.
And the objects of sedition were not alleged in the complaint
Not at all, Mr. Speaker.
and in the 2 sinumpang salaysay of Bicoy. Is that correct, Your
That
Honor?
is correct, Mr. Speaker.
Now, with respect to inciting to sedition, all of the elements of sedition must be present, except that the offender does not take direct part in the crime of sedition. And if there is no sedition, or the elements of the sedition are wanting, then there can be no inciting to sedition. Is that correct?
That too is correct, Mr. Speaker.
Now, let me just go to the sinumpang salaysay of Bicoy. And I am referring to the sinumpang salaysay dated 29 May 2019. May I know whether the distinguished gentleman has a copy of this tanong and sagot bilang 74? And in this statement, nothing whatsoever is alleged that the Vice President committed any of the elements of the charges made against her, including the members of the Ocho Directo senatorial candidates of the Liberal Party.
That is my recollection of that sinumpaang salaysay.
And there is some sort of annotation to this tanong sagot bilang 74. It's number 3, which reads, individual photographs of all respondents are attached and marked as Annex B-series. But we all know, distinguished gentlemen, that anyone can just attach individual photographs, not group photos, which shows the participation in a meeting of any of the respondents, more particularly the Vice President and members of the Ocho Directo senatorial candidates of the Liberal Party. Is that correct, Your Honor?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker.
Now, let me go to the sinumpang salaysay dated July 17, 2019, which I understand the distinguished gentleman has a copy. And may I refer him to the tanong sagot bilang 19. It's pahina 7 of the sinumpang salaysay. Has the distinguished gentleman found the particular page?
Is this the one that refers to ano ang nilalaman ng episode 4?
No, the question 19, tanong 19 is, ano pa ang sumusunod na nangyari? Question mark. And the sagot starts with Pebrero 27 hanggang 28, 2019.
I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. Apparently, we have different copies of the same affidavit. It's
Well,
a different number.
In this sinumpang salaysay,
Ano, in my copy, page 17, tanong sagot number 80,
Number
ano ang mga
19.
sumusunod ng...
number 19, Your Honor.
Please go ahead, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah.
We'll use your version.
And I quote here, it says, si Lenny Robredo ay nanatili sa lugar ng humigit kumulang 10 minuto. So in other words, the Vice President made a cameo appearance. And for that, she is being ensnared into the commission of the crimes we have just enumerated. In the honest opinion of the distinguished gentleman from Quezon City, will this hold water before a fair and just investigation or trial?
Shouldn't, Mr. Speaker. In my long years of practice, it shouldn't.
And again, in this particular statement, where the name of the Vice President appears, nothing is mentioned that she has committed any of the inculpatory elements of sedition, inciting to the sedition, libel, cyber libel, or obstruction of justice.
Not one of them.
Not whatsoever.
Not one of them, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I think based on these sole statements of an admitted ex-convict, the cases against the Vice President, the members of the political opposition, as well as the Ocho Derecho, should be jettisoned immediately by the Department of Justice. Would you
That
agree
likewise is my
to that
view,
statement?
opinion on the matter, Mr. Speaker.
Beg your pardon, Your Honor?
That likewise is my opinion on the matter, Mr. Speaker.
Well, that would really end my interpellation. I have other questions to ask, but most probably I would be eliciting the same answers. But before I sit down, Your Honor, you premise, the distinguished gentleman premised his privileged speech in a way justifying his being with the minority. Of course, we all know that the present minority is no different from the previous minority which was co-opted or even selected by the majority. Just to point out, Your Honor, the distinguished minority leader, Benny Abante, delivered his contrasona. did he take up the cudgels for the issue and charges against the Vice President as indelible brand of the prevailing injustice in this present administration? The way the distinguished gentleman has taken up this subject.
I understand and respect the point of the distinguished gentleman, and we have agreed to disagree on that opinion. Of course, we all have members of the minority and the majority, and all individual members of this Congress have our own views and opinions on the matter. We as the House minority, have also agreed on certain issues where we will come together, and there are also issues where we could not come together to form our opinion as a bloc. Nonetheless, we have all agreed to be effective fiscalizers and considering all the bills that will pass through this House. As to our opinions on matters of personal and national interest, each and every one of us, even within our own party and association, have our views and opinions, as the gentleman well knows, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I appreciate the mission of the distinguished gentleman, but to my mind, to be an effective fiscalizer, one should not be co-opted by the majority. One should not be beholden to the majority. And would the distinguished gentleman recall that this representation made his contrasona?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker.
And in the contrasona of this representation, he was critical of the prevailing injustice in this country. And the first thing he cited was the malevolent and baseless accusation against Vice President Leni Robredo et al. Is that correct?
This representation agrees with that, Mr. Speaker.
And you would also, the distinguished gentleman would also recall that as part of the indictment of the kind of justice system, this representation also brought up the continuing incarceration of Senator De Lima, whose only offense was really to fight against the president and be critical of the president's violent campaign against drugs. Is that correct?
That is correct, Mr. Speaker. A position also taken up by this representation in previous discussions and public occasions, Mr. Speaker.
And finally, would you recall that the members of the Makabayan Black, who are also with the minority headed by the distinguished Benny Abante, delivered their respective speeches in the nature of contrasona, because the topics of their speeches was never mentioned by the minority leader in his contrasona. Would you recall that?
That too is correct, Mr. Speaker. I would also like to mention, however, that I applauded the speech, the contrasona of the Honorable Edsel Lagman, but I likewise noticed certain positions that I would have preferred more emphasized also. But that doesn't mean that it was the intention of the Honorable Speaker to not include them in his contrasona. They could have just been lesser in priority, or other concerns were involved.
Thank you so much for applauding my contrasona. And thank you again for accommodating the interpellation of this representation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Floor Leader.
I move that we recognize
Case filed against the opposition, mainly, I think, referring to Vice President Leni Robredo. But I'd just like to clarify, Mr. Speaker, because based on the speech of the gentleman, it would seem that there is an institutional attack against the opposition, as stated by him, since there is a case filed by a sedition case filed against the opposition. I'd like to clarify, Mr. Speaker, because from what I understand, it is only the Philippine National Police who has filed the case, and the DOJ has yet to make an investigation and to file the necessary charges against the supposed individuals mentioned, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Defensor is correct, Mr. Speaker. The case was filed by the Philippine National Police, and the investigation is yet to commence. The investigation by the Department of Justice is yet to start, I think, within this week or next week. That is why it was very clear, Mr. Speaker, that in my privileged speech, I clearly stated that these charges were initiated not by the Republic itself, or not by our institutions itself, but by a few sycophants who are more interested in pursuing their personal interests rather than destabilizing the Republic, rather than pursuing the interests of the Filipino people.
Thank you for that, Mr. Speaker. I made mention of this because at the center of the investigation and the filing of charges is a distinguished gentleman, the Honorable Secretary Maynard Guevara, who I believe, and I hold in high regard, is a very fair and a very just Justice Secretary. And I would think that under his leadership, a fair investigation will be conducted by the Department of Justice in particular, and in general, by this administration.
I would like to believe that likewise, Mr. Speaker.
Because I made mention of that, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Secretary was the head of the legal under then President Noynoy Aquino. Later on served as Senior Deputy Executive Secretary and promoted to Secretary of Justice. So if we feel or if there is an inclination that there will be foul play or that the opposition will be targeted by charges of sedition or any other charges to be filed against them, then it would be the Honorable Secretary Guevara who would be leading the investigation and the filing of the cases.
My last sentence, Mr. Speaker, perhaps the honorable gentleman missed it, says, I am sure that after due and impartial process, this investigation will bear this out. So there is no actual contradiction between the statements by the honorable gentleman and those propounded by this representation.
Yes, thank you for that, Mr. Speaker. I thank the gentleman from Quezon City because I just wanted to point out the difference between the different individuals, as you pointed out, different institutions involved, and individuals who are also of fair mind and of integrity within the administration who would treat the opposition fairly given this case.
Mr. That is the premise of the initial paragraphs, and likewise the continuing agreement to disagree with the Honorable Edsel Lagman. This representation would like to believe that inside this administration and any previous administration, there are men of right, sound mind and honor who would like to do justice to their jobs and to the Filipino people. I do agree with that, Mr. Speaker.
So therefore, Mr. Speaker, upon the conclusion of the investigation in the phylum cases, do we agree therefore, Mr. Speaker, from the gentleman from Quezon City, that under the leadership of Secretary Guevara, whatever will be the finding, whether there will be a filing of a case or not,
under his leadership, it would be a fair resolution of the case to be filed.
As much as humanly possible, the Secretary of Justice will do his best to render justice. We can agree on that, Mr. Speaker. As to the actual results, we both live in the reality of the Philippines, Mr. Speaker.
Well, again, Mr. Speaker, let me thank the gentleman from Quezon City. Again, I commend him for his speech. As I have always said, the gentleman from Quezon City, the Honorable Belmonte, has always been, I have always admired the Honorable Belmonte, and I will support for Mayor of Quezon City when the time comes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Majority Floor Leader.
I move that we refer the speech of Congressman Belmonte together with the interpellations to the Committee on Rules.
So be it. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize from the party list Bayan Muna, Representative Euphemia Kafemia Kulamat.
The representative of Bayan Party List is hereby recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, mga kapwa kong kinatawan, sa lahat ng mga nakikinig sa loob at labas ng plenaryong ito, magandang gabi sa ating lahat. Kamakailan lang ay tinatanghal ang Pilipinas bilang pinakamapanganib na lugar sa buong mundo para sa mga tagapagtanggol ng kalikasan. Ayon sa taon ng report, hinggil sa pagpaslang ng mga makakalikasan na nilabas ng International NGO ng Global Witness, nagtala ng pinakamaraming martyr, Direktor ng Al-Kadib Lomad School, or Alternative Learning Center for Agricultural and Livelihood Development na si Sir Emerito Samarca noong 2015 ng mga paramilitar na Magahat Bagani at ng 75th Infantry Battalion ng militar. Batid namin na nakakaharang ang aming komunidad at paaralan sa mga naglalaking proyekto katulad ng coal mining. Nais nilang maghawan ng landas para sa pagpasok ng mga makinarya ng Benguet Corporation, Abacus Coal Exploration and Development, Great Walls Mining Power, Ask Mining and Exploration, at Coal Block Mining sa 60,000 hektarya na Andap Valley Complex, ang lambak ng kinalulugaran ng aming lupaing Ninono. Pinaslang si Jonel at si Dato Jubilio at si Sir Emerito Samarca, literal na agawin ang mga bukan sa aming lupaing Ninono. Tampok para sa Pilipinas sa ulat ng Global Witness na isa na namang massacre ang pagpatay sa mga manggagawang bukid na binansagang Sagay 9 at ang karugtong ng pagpatay ng kanilang abogado na si Attorney Benjamin Ramos sa isla ng Negros. Marahas na tinapos ang buhay ng siyam na kalalakihan, kababaihan at bata habang sila ay nagpapahinga sa kampuhan ng kanilang bungkalan. Bungkalan ito sa gitna ng dagat ng plantasyon ng tubo na inukit nila ni Laurencio Morena Mendoza, Marcelina Dumagit, Angel Life Arsenal, Igleserio Villegas, Paterno Baron, Ranil Bantigi, Marstil Sumikad, Jumari Ugahayon, at marami pang mga kasapi ng National Federation of Sugarcane Workers. Ang magutom dahil sa tiempo muerto ang tanging kasalanan nila. Mauuna pang dumating si kamatayan sa pangakong ipamahagi ang lupa sa sindanini sa kanila, kung kaya't nagpasya silang okupahin at bungkalin ang bahagdan nito tungo sa pagtatanim ng organikong palay at gulay. Kapalit nito, Mr. Speaker, dinilig ng bala at dugo ang bungkalan. Ayon sa Pambansang Alyansa ng Kalikasan, Mr. Speaker, tinatayang nasa 1.8 milyong ektarya ang bundok, gubat, bukirin, baybayin at karagatan ang suma total ng ipinagtatanggol ng 106 na martir ng makakalikasan sa ilalim ng administrasyon ni Presidente Rodrigo Duterte mula 2016 hanggang 2018. Tulad ng obserbasyon sa iba-ibang bansa ng Global Witness sa kanilang ulat, dumarami din ang kaso ng kriminalisasyon sa mga tagapagtanggol ng kalikasan sa Pilipinas. Sistematikong sinisiraan, binabantaan at tinatakot, niririgtag, sinampahan ng gawa-gawang kaso ang mga katutubo, magsasaka at iba pang makakalikasang aktivista upang maikatuwiran ang pagpatay sa kanila. Ganito ang naging karanasan nila sa Negros. Ganito ngayon ang hinaharap sa iba pang mga lugar kung saan iginigiit ng mga makakalikasan ang demokrasya sa kanilang lupain at kapaligiran. Mula sa 55 paaralan ng lumad sa Davao na nagtuturo sa kanilang estudyante ng sustainabling agrikultura at proteksyon ng kalikasan hanggang sa barikadang bayan ng mamamayang Novo Vizcayano laban sa illegal na operasyon ng Oceana Gold Mining Corporation, papatindi ang panggigipit ng malalaking dayuhang negosyo at ng Estado mismo ang mga katutubo, magsasaka at mamamayang lumalaban. Sa ganing ito, Mr. Speaker, nanawagan kami sa kongresong ito na maglunsad ng investigasyon sa mga kaso ng pagpaslang ng mga tagapagtanggol ng kalikasan sa buong Pilipinas. Nanawagan kami na suriin at usigin ang mga malalaking minahan, plantasyon, dam, infrastruktura at iba pang mga ekstraktibo at mapanirang mga proyekto na may track record ng paglabag sa karapatang pantao ng mga komunidad at ng kanilang operasyon. Nanawagan kami na himukin ng Kongreso ng Duterte na harapin na ang mga kaso ng patay sa mga tagapagtanggol ng kalikasan, particular, imbitahan ng pamahalaan ang ekspertong investigador ng Nation upang sipatin ang kasalukuyan kalagayan. Nanawagan kami na ubos kayang ipasa ng Kongresong ito ang House Bill 240, ang Human Rights Defenders Bill, upang mapalakas ang proteksyon sa karapatan ng mga tagapagtanggol ng karapatan, kabilang ang karapatan sa kalikasan. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker, sa pagkakataong ito, nabigyan ng boses ang kapwa ko tagapagtanggol ng kalikasan mula sa Pilipinas. Maraming salamat.
Majority Floor Leader.
I move that we refer the speech of Representative Coliamat to the Committee on Rules.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is carried. Thank you, distinguished representative of Bayan Muna, Representative Kafemia Kuliamat. Thank you. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Mark Go from the Lone District of Baguio City for his privileged speech.
The distinguished gentleman from the Lone District of Baguio City is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and Madam Majority Floor Leader. To my esteemed colleagues here in the House of Representatives and to all the guests who have graced us with their valued presence, a pleasant and fruitful afternoon. Friends and colleagues, I stand on a matter of personal and collective privilege. As I was going around my district, Baguio City, last Sunday, I took note of the prices at which gasoline and diesel are being sold at some of the gas stations in our city. A Petron station sells gasoline at 59 pesos and 74 centavos per liter and diesel at 47 pesos and 8 centavos. Shell prices the same at 60 pesos per liter, 7.20 centavos, while Caltex sells at its products at 59.69 per liter and 47.03 per liter. As we went down the lowlands, particularly in the town of Rosario, La Union, merely 39 kilometers away from Baguio, we made record of the significant disparity in the prices of fuel in two localities. At Rosario, La Union, oil prices are as follows. At Petron, gasoline sells at 53.69 per liter and diesel at 42 pesos and 30 centavos. At Shell, the same sells at 53.59 per liter and 42.16 centavos per liter. And at Caltex, it's 53.69 and 42.30 per liter. With these prices, as of Sunday, August 4, disparity in gasoline ranges from 6 pesos to 6 pesos and 41 centavos per liter, while the disparity for diesel is between 4 pesos and 73 centavos to 5 pesos and 4 centavos per liter. This is the prevailing scenario that continues to beleaguer our people. We in Baguio are paying as much as 6 pesos and 41 centavos for every liter of gasoline we purchase, more than those from a town merely 39 kilometers away. In a liberalized and competitive oil market, prices fixed by players would naturally vary, but a price disparity of around 5 to 6 pesos per liter between neighboring players is quite questionable. My honorable colleagues, this significant oil price disparity endures not only the city's transport sector, but afflicts the competitiveness and efficiency of local trade and commerce. As we know, the volatility of fuel prices has a direct impact in the price of commodities. This marked disparity in the price of oil in Baguio compared with nearby provinces translates to higher cost of basic goods and services. The purchasing power of our consumers continues to suffer from high fuel prices, and transporting produce from Baguio to multiple destinations across Luzon would mean additional expenditures to farmers and traders. Meanwhile, the lack of accessible and adequate alternative ensures that fuel demand in relation to its price remains inelastic. My dear colleagues, compared with the other regions in central and northern Luzon, minimum wage in the Cordillera Administrative Region as the lower or the lowest upper limit, compared currently pegged at 320 pesos per day. In contrast, the cost of living in Baguio, the only highly urbanized city in the region, remains to be among the highest in northern Luzon. Like many urban areas experiencing economic growth, the prices of goods and services in Baguio are higher than in the lowlands. We also have to take note that apart from the rapid industrialization of Baguio, the fact that the city has long been a top tourist destination in the country adds to our worsening problem in traffic congestion. The city's traffic woes, together with the soaring prices of fuel, leads to huge losses to our PUV and taxi drivers as well as operators. Without any relief, these drivers and operators will have no other recourse but to seek for fare hikes, which as they were are already too steep for our commuters. The unjustified high price of oil products in Baguio compared with prices at the lowlands sets into motion series of production, trade, and transportation problems which affect the viability of our city's local economy and the daily lives of our people. When the oil deregulation law was enacted, it was envisioned to foster a truly competitive market under a regime of fair prices through encouraging the entry of new participants in the downstream oil industry. But what happens when competition within a particular locality remains relatively weak, when the determination of oil prices is left to the unregulated discretion of a few local players? In the case of car, there are only a total of 87 oil players across the entire region. On the other hand, there are 482 players in Region 1, 296 in Region 2, and 773 in Region 3. That being said, the same major players are taking the lion's share of the market both in Baguio and in Rosario, La Union. The presence of the major players along with independent ones and the thriving local economy of Baguio should be enough to sustain a certain degree of competition comparable with its neighbors at the lowlands. Of course, we take in consideration geographical variations that lead to additional transportation costs for industry players, but without clarity on how these and other factors objectively affect pricing, the determination of fuel pump prices becomes prone to abuses, and the consuming public is left to bear the brunt. Going back to the scenario at Baguio and Rosario, La Union, both towns source their fuel at Poro Point, San Fernando, La Union. Rosario is about 58.9 kilometers away from Poro. Meanwhile, Baguio is 60.6 kilometers away. We have, in this case, a difference of only a few kilometers when the two fuel destinations are compared. And yet, we see a glaring disparity in the price points. So while geographical variation is crucial in pricing, it is still competition that is determinative. And when competition is weak, the public submits to absolute discretion and manipulation of pump prices. In this current regime of liberalization, the Department of Energy monitors fuel prices with reference to price movements in the global market, while the Philippine Competition Commission regulates anti-competitive behavior, as in the cases of monopoly and cartelization. But ultimately, market forces and the strength of local competition should determine such price adjustments. Indeed, a basic understanding of the law of supply and demand and the geographic location of Baguio would lead us to conclude that fuel prices would tend to be cheaper at the lowlands, but the amount of disparity prevailing in Northern Luzon begs us, consumers and policymakers alike, to question the regularity of this pump. The Commission has already filed a House resolution calling for an inquiry in aid of legislation on its fuel price disparity and overpricing in Northern Luzon. I also urge my fellow representatives to take a look of your own districts if there may be similar experiences or irregularities in the pricing of oil products, that we may collectively advocate for solutions to these concerns. My dear colleagues, the motorists and consumers in Baguio have suffered long enough. With your support, I hope that we can provide relief not only to my constituents, but to all those similarly situated. Let us work together to determine the appropriate affirmative action needed in response to these problems in oil price fixing. Let us dignify the right of consumers to a fair and reasonable access to oil products. My dear friends and colleagues, thank you for granting me this opportunity to raise the concerns of my people before this honorable assembly. I look forward to working with you in immediately addressing this matter. Again, thank you very much, and God bless us all.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of Congressman Mark Go to the Committee on Rules.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being none, motion is approved. Thank you, distinguished gentleman from the Lone District of Baguio City, Congressman Mark Go.
Mr.
Yes,
Speaker,
Majority Floor.
I move that we extend the privilege hour for another hour.
Is there any objection to extend the privilege hour to another hour? There being none, the motion is hereby approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the honorable gentleman from the 3rd District of Camarines Sur, Representative Gabriel Bernardo, for his privilege speech.
The distinguished gentleman from the 3rd District of Camarines Sur, Honorable Gabriel Bordado Jr. is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, last week I delivered a privileged speech expressing my objection to the position taken by the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, otherwise known as the MMDA, and the Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board, or the LTFRB, to ban provincial buses from EDSA. Mr. Speaker, I argued, echoing the gist of the petitions filed by some of my colleagues here in the 18th Congress, that such a position would, in effect, further exacerbate the current traffic problem in Metro Manila and would unnecessarily burden travelers from the provinces with a plethora of concerns. Mr. Speaker, coincidentally, just 3 days after the delivery of my speech, Judge Caridad Walce Lotero of the Quezon City Regional Trial Court ordered the MMDA and the LTFRB to stop the implementation of the proposed provincial bus ban in the EDSA. According to Judge Lotero, and I quote, both the MMDA and the LTFRB seem to have abused their police powers when they amended the routes of provincial bus terminals without sufficiently consulting the ban's stakeholders, unquote. Mr. Speaker, the injunction, as per report of the Philippine Daily Inquirer, stemmed from an appeal filed by several bus operators. Of course, Mr. Speaker, we welcome the decision of Judge Lotero, and we take particular note of the operative words in her decision, that is, without sufficiently consulting the ban's stakeholders. Mr. Speaker, I concur with Judge Lotero's stand that the MMDA and the LTFRB should conduct sufficient consultations with the stakeholders, particularly the hapless travelers coming from the provinces. Without going off on a tangent, however, I fully agree with the MMDA and LTFRB of the very urgent need to decongest the nightmarish traffic at the EDSA. But, Mr. Speaker, it should not be done in such a way that we provincianos won't be put in an excruciating bind, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Floor Leader.
I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Gabriel Bernardo Jr. to the Committee on Rules.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being none, motion is approved. Mr. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the honorable gentleman from the 1st District of Laguna, Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez.
Thank you so much.
The distinguished Deputy Speaker from the 1st District of Laguna is hereby recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. A while ago, I was about not to stand anymore because our distinguished colleague from Bicol will have delivered a privileged speech regarding the issuance of writ of preliminary injunction that was issued by Judge Lutero. Was the same topic that I'm going to discuss as well. But nevertheless, Mr. Speaker, I chose to deliver this speech. Precisely, there are some issues that I have to tackle as well. So, Mr. Speaker, Your Honors, today I rise on this matter, the sad plight not only of my district, but of my province mate as well, and the residents of the Southern Luzon. Mr. Speaker, Your Honors, I refer to the various solutions proposed to solve the horrendous traffic situation and the huge losses to our economy, but which are now suspended because of the injunction issued by the RTC Branch 223 under Judge Caridad Walcel Lutero. Esteemed colleagues, Mr. Speaker, all of us are united in the idea of efficient transport system that benefit tremendously our people and the national economy. We all agree that our people deserve comfortable, stress-free, and convenient travel from their homes to their places of work and back. But this ideal could not be achieved because of the horrendous traffic situation in Metro Manila. Even His Excellency President Rodrigo Duterte was well aware of this crucial concern, so much so that when he assumed the presidency in July 2016, he outlined one of his priorities was stamping out traffic congestion in Metro Manila, particularly along EDSA. For this reason, he personally handpicked a very competent and committed man to handle the challenge, retired General Danny Lim, as chairman of the Metro Manila Development Authority. He has entrusted the difficult task of putting sanity to Metro Manila traffic, believing that he could deliver. And from day one, General Lim rolled his sleeves to work. He cleared all obstructions throughout the length of thoroughfare, including those posed by malls along EDSA, bringing humanity and dignity among traffic enforcers, declogging drainages and waterways, and implementing flood mitigation projects to reduce the 20-minute target for floods to subside, and most importantly, removing all informal settlers along the waterways. It was resolute action all along. In the context of all this, the President, in his fourth State of the Nation, directed DILG Secretary Eduardo Año to further intensify the campaign against all road obstruction and strongly continue clearing operations not only in Metro Manila but also in the entire country. The President's order was resolute that Secretary Año told all the mayors to hold all barangay captains accountable for road obstruction. Thus, in pursuit of the President's directive, all mayors and barangay captains are working hand in hand to bring back the roads to the people. The results are there to see. I remember the time when I was the mayor of the city of Santa Rosa in Laguna, that one of my priority tasks was to also to clear all the roads obstruction, particularly in different parts of my constituents. It was very difficult as there were many who were hurt in the process. Many suffered and so much resources were wasted in following the law. Still, there are many who keep on going astray, obstructing the roads again and again. During my incumbency, we watched the clearing operations of General Lim, particularly in Caloocan, where there was one house in the middle of a waterway which he personally ordered to be demolished. That was a political will of high order. We were inspired and strengthened in our collective resolve to follow his example. His innovation of introducing the yellow lane was effective, similar to that of the BST in Jakarta, Indonesia, and Guangzhou in China, and even the city of Paris was implemented bus lanes where cars are not allowed. In 2012, the bus segregation scheme was introduced. Ito po yung merong ABC, yung ating mga bus na kung saan titigil, pipick up sa letter A, aalis, at para ang purpose po ay yung ating pong mga buses will not jockey for positions in arrival in Mabaya, integrated bus terminal. The first integrated terminal was operated 2 years ago, the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, which served the passengers of Cavite and Batangas bound buses from EDSA. So far, this has been some of the programs and projects implemented by MMDA, along with the PTEX. That of the Valenzuela Terminal and the South Santa Rosa Integrated Terminal System in the city of Santa Rosa should be next. This is because, as per the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, yung tinatawag nating UNESCAP, in a study entitled Battling Congestion in Manila, the EDSA Problem, written in 2013, putting up this integrated terminal of outskirts of Metro Manila will quickly become effective and apparent. But Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, we all know that solving congestion on EDSA and in Metro Manila as a whole will not be so quick or easy. Given the street patterns cannot be altered in a year, thus congestion will remain. Building more roads may not be efficient in the long term. Instead, effective policies must be put in place. Foremost of this is harnessing trains and better connected stations. This is exactly our proposal. The Santa Rosa Integrated Terminal System, which is located approximately 25 kilometers south of Makati, taking the Mamplasan exit, that will take at least 35 minutes via Skyway and South Luzon Expressway. Yung pong aming streets, yung tinatawag namin Santa Rosa Integrated Terminal System, shall have the base, the parking lots, amenities, and other facilities that shall ensure seamless transfer of passengers, including a provision for a transfer for the PNR railway. Kasi doon po sa aming interim bus terminal, 2 minutes away lang, kalapit ka na po ng PNR. Coinciding with the project of the national government, yung pong build nila, ay magko-commence na po yung ating tinatawag na NSCR, yung North-South Clark City North-South Commuter Railway Project na magsisimula sa Clark City in Pampanga Province to the north of Calamba, Laguna in the south of Manila. This is a $2.7 billion na project ng ating national government that will be initially operational by 2022. And that's the reason why ito pong interim terminal na ginawa natin po sa Santa Rosa with the city government of Santa Rosa will somehow be of helpful. Dahil aside sa magkakaroon po tayo ng P2P, magkakaroon tayo ng city buses, yung component po ng PNR will be there. From Calamba to Santa Rosa, to San Pedro, to Blumentritt, going straight to Clark. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the design and construction of this project must be designed with the ease and convenience of the riding public in mind. There should be a computerized dispatch system that will ensure hassle-free ingress and egress of buses and other vehicles in the SRITs, including a computerized ticketing system, writ of preliminary injunction, seeking to enjoin the LTFRB and MMDA from implementing this issuance. More specifically, LTFRB MC number 2019-001 MMDA regulations number 19002. Mr. Speaker, a while ago I was listening to Congressman Bordado, and he was trying to tell us that there's no plan for this integrated bus terminal system that our Judge Lutero have issued a writ of preliminary injunction. If we will recall a case against MMDA under GR number 170656, yung pong MMDA and Bayani Fernando against the Byron Transportation, yung pong executive order na ginawa po ni former Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, wherein there was has recommended, the MMDA has recommended a plan to decongest the traffic by eliminating the bus terminals now located along the major Metro Manila thoroughfares, ay nasubmit na noong pa po noong 2003. Unfortunately, this EO number 179 was nullified by the Supreme Court, but not because the reason why it was nullified, because the mandate of the MMDA does not include yung pong pag-i-implement ng project like this, and that's the reason why this was nullified by the Supreme Court. Now, Mr. Speaker, I think the MMDA or the different agencies like the DOTR and its attached agency, the LTFRB, is somehow doing their mandate as an agency attached to DOTR. Precisely, they did not revoke the franchise that were given to the bus operators, but only amended the franchise that were given to them. Instead, that the endpoint of their destination will be the different terminals in the EDSA, ay na-shorten po yun doon sa Integrated Terminal Exchange, which is Santa Rosa and Valenzuela. We initiated this project, the city government of Santa Rosa. And we are so saddened that after all the work that had been done and the implementation that had been given by LTFRB and Department of Transportation, magkakaroon po ng ganitong writ of preliminary injunction. Mr. Speaker, napakatagal na panahon na nagkaroon ng pag-aaral dito. And I think it's high time that the national government pursue this vision to decongest the traffic on EDSA, precisely because the capacity of EDSA is they can cater only 288,000 vehicles. But nowadays, ang dumadaan po mga vehicles dyan ay umaabot na almost ng 402,000 daily. And having said this, Mr. Speaker, every vehicle na dumadaan dyan contributes to the congestion of EDSA, Mr. Speaker. And that's the reason why the national government, through MMDA and DOTR, have done something. As a matter of fact, Mr. Speaker, if I may, kasi meron pong akong nakitang isang letter na nakuha po natin sa mga pabo natin. If I can borrow the line of Minority Leader Benny Abante, meron din po tayong pabo doon at sinasabi nila na noong October 8, 2018, during the 30th Cabinet meeting held on October 8, 2018 at the Aguinaldo State Dining Room, Malacanang Palace, the Transportation Secretary presented updates on various transportation projects, including the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, envisioned as the transfer point for provincial and in-city transportation. In the course of the discussion, the President reminded the Transportation Secretary to close the bus terminals located along EDSA. And this was signed by Leoncio Ebasco. And following this, Mr. Speaker, si Secretary Salvador Mediadea also directed Chairman ng MMDA Danny Lim noong June 17, 2019. At ang binabanggit po doon ay in order to ensure the proper establishment and implementation of the provincial interim bus terminals the MMDA is hereby directed to coordinate with the Department of Transportation and to comply with its requirements and prerequisite conditions for the establishment, implementation, and operation of the same. In other words, Mr. Speaker, inorderan po ng Pangulo ang MMDA to coordinate with other agencies. And that's what they did. The MMDA coordinated because that is the function of MMDA, is to coordinate and to monitor the traffic management plan that they have to the right agencies. And the right agency is the DOTR. And DOTR through LTFRB issued a memorandum circular. Yung nga po yung memorandum circular 037, opening of applications to operate point-to-point bus services routes to augment passenger demand from Santa Rosa Interim Terminal and Valenzuela Gateway Complex Terminal. Mr. Speaker, I think it's high time that we give a chance to this dry run that others are objecting. Because after all, it's just a part of the bigger traffic management plan to have this dry run in order for us to find out it will be kung ito po ay magiging applicable to the present situation. Imagine, Mr. Speaker, we have like 97 terminals in EDSA. And we have like 7,000 buses flying every day in the yellow lane. Punong-puno na ang yellow lane natin ng mga buses. At kung pwede lang magsalita, si Epi, kung nabubuhay lang po si Epi, siguro sasabihin sa atin, alisin nyo ng pangalan ko dyan. Di ba? Si Epipanyo de los Santos. Dahil araw-araw, namumura at inaabot ng mura niya. Walang yang EDSang yan, di ba? Hayop na EDSang yan, traffic na traffic tayo, araw-araw. And we are experiencing all these problems, you know? Hindi lamang po yung ating mga kababayan. Mr. Speaker, some of the contention that are being thrown on this interim terminal ay sinasabi ng mga operators na mas mahal ang singil. Hindi naman po mahal ang singil eh. Kasi nga po, yung bus na manggagaling po sa kanilang point of origin, for example, manggagaling dun sa Visayas, sa Mindanao, papunta po sa Manila, iikli po yung kanilang biyahe na instead na magkaroon sila ng point of final destination doon sa EDSA, doon na lang po muna sa Santa Rosa. And after that, saka sila ihahatid doon po sa kanilang mga destinasyon. In other words, Mr. Speaker, malilesen po yung kanilang travel time. At ito naman parang plus-minus scheme lamang. Kumbaga, para po tayong meron ditong tinatawag na plus-minus, mababawasan yung travel mo, madadagdagan ka naman pag sumakay ka na doon sa mga city buses at mga P2P. And eventually, yung pong PNR, na kapag natapos po by 2022, ay tamang-tama doon sa interim terminal natin dahil po, kalapit lamang po siya noong PNR. I still remember when Secretary Tugade had visited the place and told us to pursue with this project. Our dream to have a better EDSA is within our grasp. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I really don't know. Last week, I delivered a speech also about the injunctions being issued by some members of the court. Ito, nag-issue na naman po. A good policy of the national government, not no less than the President wanted to transfer all the bus terminals on the outskirts of Metro Manila, and now, pinipigilan naman po ng korte. I know. I submit to their wise wisdom. But I think it is premature, Mr. Speaker. Precisely because kasama sa pinakamalaking plano nila itong dry run. And why stop now if we can try it for like 3 months and try to find out if it will work out. Now, kung hindi po mag-work out, Kaya nga tinawag na interim eh. So ibig sabihin, temporary. Kung hindi maganda, itigil. Pero kung maganda, ituloy. Ang contention din ng others, dumaan ba to sa NEDA? Dumaan ba to sa Infracom? Dumaan ba to dun sa tinatawag na interagency technical committee on transport planning? Hindi pa po tumadaan. Kasi nga po, temporary pa lang. In other words, Mr. Speaker, we're going there. If ever that this memorandum order of the former President, Benigno Aquino, yung pong memorandum order number 25, mandating that all infrastructure project must pass through this IAT-CTP, dadaan naman po to. But we need to have a trial first because kasama po to sa mas malaking plano. Para nang sa ganun po, kung mag-work out, let's pursue. Pag hindi, let's stop. Mr. Speaker, I think we're losing a lot of money because of traffic. According to the study of JICA, 3.5 billion a day ang nauubos, nalolos ng gobyerno. Pero our bus operators had been there for so many years. Mr. Speaker, yung po mga plaintiffs natin dito, di ba? Yung ating mga bus operators. Like Byron, 1978 pa lang, andyan na sila. Yung pong Victory Liner, 1945. Baliwag, 1960. Mr. Speaker, I think they have already benefited on the street of EDSA. I think it's now high time that they have given back to this EDSA that bring profits to our bus operators. Something that will be malaking pasasalamat ng ating mga kababayan. But because majority of our people who are traveling on EDSA, Mr. Speaker, ramdam na ramdam natin ang problema. Ako po, pag lumuluwas ako ng Maynila, pupunta ako ng Congress, 3 oras ang kailangan para makarating po ako ng Kongreso. Napakahirap. Ang sinasabi po sa study, by the time of 2025, 38 million na po ang tao dito sa Metro Manila. And taon-taon, 1,000 behikulo ang nadadagdag sa EDSA. At kung hindi natin po to itatry, itong dry run na to, Mr. Speaker, hindi ko na po alam kung saan po patungo ang EDSA. Mr. Speaker, hanggang dito na lang po, I submit. Yes. Maraming salamat po.
The Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize Congressman Pido Gerbin from Ako Bicol Party List for his interpellation.
The gentleman from Ako Bicol is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the very good-looking Deputy Speaker yield to some question?
Yes, sir. Willingly, sir.
Mr. Speaker, I am one with the Deputy Speaker from Laguna in finding a viable solution in solving the traffic in the Metro Manila, specifically EDSA. By science, by actual studies, by data. Do you agree with me?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as much as I wanted to answer with study about the traffic management plan that had been conceptualized during the time of Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, which they have submitted to MMDA through our former former MMDA chairman, Bayani Fernando. Mr. Speaker, I think nowadays we don't need to have a scientific study on this. Blatantly, ay nakikita po na natin yung problem that is right in front of us. And each and every one of us in here who are traveling on EDSA have experienced the problem. And it cannot be denied because of science or any study that can be argued upon. Tayo mismo, kitang-kita po natin yung problem. Do we need the science to to be presented to us before we take action, Mr. Speaker? I don't think so.
We agree. We both agree that there is, every day there's traffic along EDSA, and that costs billions of pesos, productive hours among us, and lost precious time for each and every Filipino. Pero yung nakikita ho natin na nagkukos ng traffic along EDSA should be identified. Now, the premise of your privileged speech, Mr. Speaker, is to get rid of the provincial bus terminals and to implement the provincial bus ban in order to ease the traffic congestion in EDSA. My question is, do you have any empirical basis that will really show that the traffic along EDSA is directly correlated to the existence of the provincial buses?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my dear colleague. We have seen the project of the MMDA by putting up a yellow lane wherein the provincial buses can only pass through this lane. Not only the provincial buses, but the city buses as well are those who are allowed to enter this yellow lane. And for now, Mr. Speaker, these lanes are being used specifically by them. Pero now pa lang, we can see that there's still a problem that arises. Hindi po ma-accommodate ng yellow lane natin yung mga buses na pumapasok dito po sa yellow lane. And for that, Mr. Speaker, it is somehow rightly seen by all of us that the problem still existed, even putting up a yellow lane. So, meaning, Mr. Speaker, these buses that contributed to the influx of a lot of vehicles must be arrested, Mr. Speaker. I mean, arrested, be cured by putting up a ITX on these suburbs of Metro Manila, Mr. Speaker.
Let us not be confused by the usage of yellow lane, and whenever we see that the same is congested by the buses, because we might be confused that what we're referring to are the city buses, not the provincial buses. Data would show, and this is given by the MMDA, Mr. Speaker, that the provincial buses constitute less than 5% of the total vehicles that ply along EDSA, as compared to the 95% which comprise the private vehicles and the provincial buses. In fact, galing din to sa MMDA, sinasabi nila, there is only 3,600 provincial buses as against the 12,000 city buses. So, you do the math, sino ba ang nagkukos ng traffic? Is it the 5% or the 95%?
Mr. Speaker, it's not only the buses that is in problem in here. You know, there are 97 bus terminals along EDSA. Those are legal. Meron pa po tayong mga tinatawag na mga colorum. Aside from the buses that plying these thoroughfares, yung pong mga terminals na ginagamit po ng ating mga bus operators are also the problems. And by doing a integrated bus terminal, wherein all these buses and terminals will be on the outskirts of Metro Manila, most likely, Mr. Speaker, this problem will be solved. And that's the reason why we have a dry run. Hindi pa po ito permanente. Kumbaga, itry muna natin. Subukan muna natin. At kapag hindi naging effective, Mr. Speaker, then we tell them, we stop this interim terminal. Mr. Speaker, as I've said, we believe on the scientific study. But this time, siguro kung nung panahon nung pinagawa po itong EDSA noong 1940, syempre, magbabase po tayo sa mga scientific study. But this time, Mr. Speaker, kitang-kita po natin ang problema, and we have to arrest this problem that confront all of us in this August chamber, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I heard the argument of MMDN on how the spouse that provincial bus terminals are traffic generators. Nung tinanong ko sila, bakit traffic generators? It's because, sabi nila, tumitigil yung mga taxi at jeepney na mga nagpaparada doon para mag-pick up ng mga pasahero, and that's why it caused traffic. Pero pag tiningnan naman natin, ang traffic hindi lang dyan sa Cubao kung saan bumababa at tumitigil ang mga provincial buses. The traffic extend up to Makati and Magallanes. Wala naman ng mga provincial bus terminals doon. Pangalawa, kung yun lang naman ang argumento na dahil traffic generators ito, bakit hindi na lang hulihin to fully implement and enforce the traffic laws and regulations along EDSA para yung bumabalandra doon sa EDSA, yun ay dapat may address, mawala yung traffic. Pangalawa, sinasabi natin that we need to have an integrated and intermodal terminal. Tama po, and that is precisely what the National Transport Policy provides. As compared to these interim terminals situated in Santa Rosa, Laguna, and in Valenzuela, that is not part of any NEDA board resolution, which we consider as the legal and economic framework for the success of any transport system. Kaya nga, inadmit nyo kanina, hindi ito kasama sa napag-aralan ng transport policy. In fact, for the information of the good Deputy Speaker, when we had a committee hearing before the Committee on Transportation during the previous Congress, it was admitted by the DOTR and the LTFRB na hindi man lamang sila kinonsulta dito sa interim terminal sa Santa Rosa at sa Valenzuela. Pangatlo, ang mga provincial buses ho ay P2P na yan. Yun ho ang nakapalaman sa kanilang prangkesa. The idea is to get rid of them along EDSA, so it will be replaced by another P2B buses that will end up in EDSA. Ano ho ba yung pagkakaiba? Pinalitan mo yung mga provincial buses, pinatigil mo doon sa Santa Rosa, Laguna at sa Valenzuela, papalitan mo ng P2P bus that will end up along EDSA. Ano ho ba yung pagkakaiba?
Okay, Mr. Speaker.
Anong resulta ang ating matitingnan kung ang ginawa mo ay pareho lamang?
By MMDA is somehow not enough, Mr. Speaker. And that's the reason why they wanted to add more solutions to the problem by identifying the different elements. Mr. Speaker, marami pong elemento ng solusyon sa trapiko. At hindi lamang po yung sinasabi natin ng pag-aalis ng bus at pag-aalis ng mga terminal ang solusyon. There are a lot of solutions. Like the policies that are being implemented by the MMDA are so important that we need to have additional solutions. Di ba? Yung integrated bus terminal is a solution. Yung paglalagay ng PNR na can be used by our commuters are also solutions. Mr. Speaker, kaya answering his question, yung pong policy na ginagawa po ng MMDA are not enough, Mr. Speaker, to solve the problem of EDSA. Now, yung pong second question niya, kung nakonsulta po ba ang ating mga stakeholders. There's a lot of meeting that was conducted in the MMDA. And one of those meeting, I was invited. Andun po ang mga bus operators, andun po yung ibang stakeholders, andun po yung mga ibang mga affected. And I would like, I disagree with this observation of our good gentleman from Bicol, but I was invited to attend that meeting precisely because we are one of the proponents of this integrated bus terminal. So sa pangatlo pong tanong ng ating pong kagalang-galang na mambabatas ay yung pong tinatawag na yung kung using the P2P going to EDSA ay magdadagdag pa ng mga additional buses or mga city buses o yung mga P2P. No, Mr. Speaker. Walang additional dito. Yung buong may mga prangkisa na, according to MMDA, may mga prangkisa na sa Metro Manila, sila na po ay i-extend yung kanilang prangkisa to Santa Rosa and to the Valenzuela. Walang dagdag na bus, walang dagdag ng city buses. In other words, Mr. Speaker, even the collection of fees to the commuters will not be charged as city fare. In other words, kung ano po yung fare nila na binabayaran nila sa kanilang provincial buses, yun din po ang kokolektahin ng ating mga P2P at ng ating mga city buses. Mr. Speaker, if I may also, wala po naman nagbago doon sa manggagaling ka ng Bisaya, ng Bicol, Southern Luzon, pupunta ka ng terminal ng EDSA. We have to consider that those who are going to the terminal in EDSA, hindi naman po yun yung kanilang final destination. Pagbaba nila sa terminal, yung mga kababayan natin, sayang, hindi ko lang po dala yung mga pictures eh. Yung mga pictures na magpapatunay that those mga pasahero natin that galing sa terminal, pagbaba mo, kanya-kanya na yan. Hanap na sila ng sasakyan nila, hanap na ng taxi, hanap na ng SUV. Samantalang doon po sa integrated bus terminal, magiging seamless. Pagbaba mo sa terminal, andun na yung mga porter, andun na yung mga cart, kukunin na yung mga gamit mo, dadaling ka na sa city buses, dadaling ka na sa P2P, o dadaling ka na doon sa bagong PNR station, papunta ng Blumentritt. In other words, Mr. Speaker, all those coming from different provinces, pag pumunta naman sila ng EDSA, hindi naman ibig sabihin, EDSA na sila mag-i-stay, di ba? Sasakay pa yan. At pagsakay nila, nahihirapan din sila. Wala naman po kasing mga magdadala sa kanila sa iba't ibang lugar. But of course, Mr. Speaker, ang sinasabi po ng ibang natin mga kababayan, bakit ba baguhin pa yan? Ganyan-ganyan. Alam niyo, mga Pilipino, human nature natin, we don't want something to change from us. But the reality is, we are evolving Dapat nagbabago po. Ang EDSA dati maluwag. Walang pagtatalo. That time, pag sinabing EDSA, okay, maluwag. But this time, it became more adult in nature that we need to have an adult solution to the problem that they are confronting right now. Mr. Speaker. Tapos na.
Mr. Speaker, let me just correct the impressions that there will be no new buses or additional or new franchises that will be issued in connection with this provincial bus ban. The truth is, there will be new franchises that will be issued for the P2P buses that will take or that will substitute for the provincial buses who will be banned along EDSA. Now, let me just give my 2 cents of contribution to this is my last. Yes, thank you. So, just to end, Mr. Speaker, and to the Deputy Speaker Fernandez, there are low-hanging fruits that must be implemented first by the MMDA. One is the crackdown on illegal terminals, wherein these are havens and refuge of colorum vehicles who have no passenger insurance coverage and no franchises. They don't pay business permits, they don't pay any taxes, and non-compliance of terminal standards. So sana bago ipasara yung mga lehitimong provincial terminals, hanapin muna nila yung mga illegal terminals. Second, LTFRB has no estimates on the number of colorums of vehicles operating in Metro Manila. And so it is difficult to conclude that the cause of the traffic are the legitimate provincial bus operators. These colorum vehicles contribute to the traffic congestion. So, ito nga ho muna sana yung tutukan bago pupunta tayo sa isang pulisiya at gagawin nating eksperimento na ang apektado ay libo-libong mga probinsyano na walang ibang means of transportation or, they take the bus, the provincial bus, because that is the cheapest mode of transportation in going to Metro Manila. If you stop them in Santa Rosa and in Valenzuela, definitely it will entail more expenses, additional travel time, prolonged journey to Calvary that is free to the provincial bus ban. Salamat to, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sagutin ko? Di na. Sige na. Thank you.
The Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, to give way to the oath-taking of our deputy speakers, I beg the indulgence of the Honorable Dan Fernandez. I move to suspend the privilege hour.
There is a motion to suspend the privilege hour to pave the way for the oath-taking of the newly elected deputy speakers. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, pending the arrival of Speaker Alan Cayetano, I move to suspend session. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Session suspended.
Asa yung listahan?
Mr. Speaker, bababa muna. Sige.
Hindi naman pwede mag-take ng picture. Boss, I object.
Session resumed.
Mr. Speaker, I move for a few minutes suspension.
Session suspended. Session is resumed.
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Floor Leader.
on behalf of the majority, we move to nominate and elect the following House members to the Committee on Legislative Franchises. As Vice Chairpersons, the Honorables Abraham Tolentino, Tony Pet Albano, Jose Tejada, and Faustino Michael D. As members, Cyril Abueg, Faustino Ino D., Along Malapitan, Eric Martinez, Alfred Vargas, Divina Yu, Julian Baronda, Onyx Crisologo, Luis Ferrer IV, John Martin Servo, Strike Revilla, Samantha Vargas Alfonso, Roland Valeriano, Sol Aragones, Chun Chipeco, Eduardo Gullas, Eliandro Madrona, Deogracia Savellano, Frederick Xiao, Ian Paul D., Gil Acosta Jr., Wesley Gatchalian, Precious Castelo, Sheena Tan, Christian Unabia, Raymond Mendoza, Jericho Nograles, Yeda Marie Romualdez, Eric Yap, Christopher De Venecia, and Edward Maceda. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The following names read by the Majority Floor Leader are hereby elected as members of the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the majority, we move to nominate and elect to the Committee on Tourism the following. As Chairperson, the Honorable Sol Aragones. As Vice Chairpersons, the Honorables Lucy Torres Gomez, Yeda Marie Romualdez, Ramon Nolasco Jr., Franz Alvarez, Edgar Chato, Manuel Zubiri. As members, the Honorables Leo Cueva, Alfelito Bascug, Wilfredo Caminero, Juliet Uy, Vicente Veloso, Micaela Violago, Rashidin Matba, Faustino Ino D., Elias Bulut, Carlito Marquez, Bernarditas Ramos, Gerardo Valmayor, Solomon Chungalao, Gil Acosta Jr., Siriaco Gato, Maximo Dalog, Ramon Huico III, Jose Tejada, Mark Go, Neil Roque, Cora Malanyaon, Malu Acosta Alba, Josefina Talyado, Bingo Matugas, Cyril Abueg Zaldivar, Fernando Cabredo, Nonoy Defensor, Ann Hofer, Estrelita Swansing, Ria Fariñas, Janice Salimbangon. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being none, the names read by the Majority Floor Leader are hereby elected as members of the Committee on Tourism.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session.
Session suspended. Session is hereby resumed. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, last July 24, 2019, Honorable Neptali M. Gonzalez II of the Lone District of Mandaluyong was elected as Deputy Speaker. I move that we allow the Deputy Speaker-elect to take his oath.
Is there any objection to the motion? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to call the Honorable Neptali Boyet Gonzalez II to take his oath of office before this body. So, Secretary General.
May I request our dear colleagues to rise for the solemnity of this oath-taking. I state your name.
I, Neptali M. Gonzalez II,
Of
of the Lone District of Mandaluyong City,
having been elected as
having been elected as Deputy Speaker, 18th Congress,
hereby solemnly swear
hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of my present position
the duties of my present position,
and of all others
and of all others
I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines.
I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines,
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
That I will obey the laws,
that I will obey the laws,
legal orders,
and decrees
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines.
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines,
And that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily,
and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily,
without mental reservation
or
purpose of evasion. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Deputy Speaker. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, last July 24, 2019, Honorable Dan S. Fernandez of the 1st District of Laguna was elected as Deputy Speaker. I move that we allow the Deputy Speaker-elect to take his oath.
Is there any objection to the motion? The chair hears none. The motion is hereby approved. The Secretary General is hereby directed to call the Honorable Dan S. Fernandez to take his oath of office before this body. Mr. Secretary General.
Deputy Speaker Dan Fernandez is requested to join the Speaker at the rostrum.
I,
Dan S. Fernandez,
of
the 1st District of Laguna,
having been elected as
Deputy Speaker, 18th Congress,
hereby solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties of my present position and of all others I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines. And that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, last July 30, 2019, Honorable Rosemary Baby J. Arenas of the 3rd District of Pangasinan was elected as Deputy Speaker. I move that we allow the Deputy Speaker to take her oath.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to call the Honorable Rosemary Baby J. Arenas to take her oath of office before this body.
Deputy Speaker Rosemary Baby J. Arenas is requested to join the Speaker at the rostrum.
I state your name, please.
Rosemary Arenas
of
of the 3rd District of Pangasinan,
having been elected as Deputy Speaker, 18th Congress,
Deputy Speaker, 18th Congress,
hereby solemnly swear
that
I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties of my present position and of all others I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines, and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations, Deputy Speaker.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, last July 30, 2019, Honorable Rodante D. Marcoleta of Sagip Party List was elected Deputy Speaker. I move that we allow the Deputy Speaker to take his oath.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to call the Honorable Rodante D. Marcoleta to take his oath of office before this body.
Deputy Speaker Rodante D. Marcoleta is requested to join the Speaker at the rostrum.
I,
Rodante D. Marcoleta,
of
of the Social Amelioration and Genuine Intervention on Poverty, SAGIP,
having been elected as Deputy Speaker, 18th Congress,
Deputy Speaker, 18th Congress,
hereby solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully discharge to the best of my ability the duties of my present position and of all others I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines, and that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines, and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations, Deputy Speaker.
Salamat po.
Congratulations, boss.
Sabi ni Speaker, mag-object daw ako sa mga.
Kay Dan, hindi kay ito. Meron pa?
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Last July 30, 2019, Honorable S. Waminal of the 2nd District of Misamis Occidental was elected Deputy Speaker. I move that we allow the Deputy Speaker-elect to take his oath.
Is there any objection to the motion? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to call the Honorable Henry S. Waminal to take his oath of office before this body.
Deputy Speaker Henry Waminal and his family members are requested to join the Speaker at the rostrum.
I, Henry A. Swaminal,
of
of the 2nd District of Misamis Occidental,
having been elected as,
having been elected as Deputy Speaker, 18th Congress,
hereby solemnly swear
hereby solemnly swear
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
that I will well and faithfully discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the duties of my present position,
the duties of my present position,
and of all others
and of all others
I may hereafter hold
I may hereafter hold
under the Republic of the Philippines,
under the Republic of the Philippines,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I will obey the laws,
and that I will obey the laws,
legal orders,
and decrees
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities
promulgated by the duly constituted authorities
of the Republic of the Philippines,
of the Republic,
and that I impose the obligation upon myself voluntarily
and that I impose this obligation upon my
I, Pablo John F. Garcia,
of
the 3rd District of Cebu,
having been elected as,
having been elected as Deputy Speaker, 18th Congress,
hereby solemnly swear that I will well and faithfully discharge, to the best of my ability, the duties of my present position, and of all others I may hereafter hold under the Republic of the Philippines, that I will support and defend the Constitution of the Philippines, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the laws, legal orders, and decrees promulgated by the duly constituted authorities of the Republic of the Philippines, and that I impose this obligation upon myself voluntarily without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Deputy Speaker.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize Representative Carlo Lisandro Gonzales of Marino Party List for his manifestation.
The distinguished gentleman from Marino Party List, the Honorable Carlo Lisandro L. Gonzales, is hereby recognized for his manifestation.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This representation, as the first nominee of Marino Party List, would like to inform the House of Representatives that Representative Jose Antonio G. Lopez, in a letter addressed to the Board of Trustees of Marino Samahan ng Mga Seaman, Party List dated July 5, 2019, tendered his resignation as a member and second nominee of Marino Party List. Due to the unforeseen resignation of Representative Lopez, the Board of Trustees of Marino Party List held a special meeting on July 6, 2019, and unanimously accepted his resignation, and further resolved to submit to the Commission on Elections the certified list of nominees of our party list. On July 17, 2019, Marino Party List filed before the Law Department of the COMELEC a manifestation informing the body of the resignation of our second nominee, and submitting to the same the certificate of nomination and certificate of acceptance of the party list for purposes of the May 13, 2019 elections. Mr. Speaker, in view of the foregoing and on behalf of Marino Party List, may we request that the resignation of Representative Lopez be accepted by the House of Representatives and for Representative Lopez be dropped from the roll of the House. This is necessary in order to allow the third nominee of our party to assume the position vacated by Representative Lopez. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, given the manifestation of the Representative Gonzales, I move that we accept the resignation of Representative Jose Antonio G. Lopez of Marino Party List and instruct the Secretary General to drop from the roll of members of the House Representative Jose Antonio G. Lopez.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is approved. The resignation of Representative Jose Antonio G. Lopez of Marino Party List is hereby accepted. The Secretary General is instructed to drop from the roll of members of the House of Representatives. Members of the House, Representative Jose Antonio G. Lopez.
Mr. Speaker,
Majority Floor Leader.
I move that we instruct the Secretary General to duly inform the Commission on Elections of the acceptance by the House of Representatives of the resignation of, with reference to the election of members of certain committees on August 5, 2019, to indicate Rep. Alfonso Umali as the duly elected Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Housing and Urban Development instead of Rep. Reynaldo Umali. Second, to indicate Rep. Cesar Jimenez as the duly elected member of the Committee on Ways and Means instead of Representative Cesar Chavez. Third, with reference to the election of members of certain committees on August 6, 2019, to invalidate the election of Rep. Manuel Sagarbarria as member of the Committee on Foreign Affairs and reaffirm his election as Vice Chairperson of the same committee, and to invalidate the election of Representative Shari Ann Tan as member of the Committee on National Defense and Security on the part of the majority, as the Honorable Tan is a member of the minority bloc. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being none, the following corrections are hereby approved. Mr. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we would like to recognize guests of our esteemed minority leader, the Honorable Benny Abante. They are the Ulama League for Call and Guidance, a Muslim youth-oriented non-profit organization with which champions the rights and opportunities for education, livelihood, entrepreneurship of the peaceful and healthy community they represent. Again, the Ulama League for call and guidance, guests of the Honorable Minority Leader Benny Abante.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. The guest of the Minority Floor Leader Benny Abante is hereby recognized or acknowledged, and you are welcome to the House of Representatives.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we terminate the privilege hour.
Is there any objection? There being none, the privilege hour is hereby terminated.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adjourn until tomorrow, August 7, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Session is hereby adjourned.